I've decided for this talk to make it a little bit different. It's gonna be super interactive. I know literally no one wants to sit for 3 fucking hours and listen to people chat. So I've segmented the talk into 4 areas. I even actually ditched the presentation because I don't want to be like, oh, and here we talk about this. So we've got what's changed since last year. I think the biggest objection handling thing I need to do is say, some of you guys have been to a talk before, some of you might have been in the last one, whatever it is, so let's have a look at that. What I think is working this year with some of the guys that are here in my mentorship and some of you guys that aren't. We're gonna look at what I think is gonna work for next year. We're then gonna go through some topics of underrated and overrated, but not only do we have a Q&A at the end, every single topic that we discuss, we're gonna take like a little break to talk about. So rather than you having to wait like 25 minutes for me to get back around, oh, any questions? Oh yeah, James, 20 minutes ago you said about this. Literally super talkative, question me, challenge me. We can even fight if you want. You know, we'll just fucking get out. To begin with, so if we look into the first segment of it, what's changed in last year? The first thing would be my standpoint on chatbots. So we have ManyChat is the main one. And even the guys in the mentorship, I've just been fucking around with them. I'm not even sure how much I think they're gonna make an impact for everyday people. But in essence, I didn't realize until last year that ManyChat is now kind of a partner with Meta. So for Instagram and for Facebook, we can now utilize third-party software to make it easier for people to react to our call to actions. I think we're starting to see some real fatigue on social media of telling people to click links in our bio. You know, it's, oh, click the link in the bio, and people are like, I don't work for you. Like, what, you're gonna make me go all the way there? And another thing is, when we're in this behavior of scrolling around on social media, going to someone's link in bio and ending up on their website is kind of destructive to the things that we're doing on socials. Whereas if you're in the middle of something, you can respond to the chatbot, DM the word coach or whatever it is, and then you know that that URL or that call to action is then gonna sit in your inbox over time. And Instagram is actually pretty much a DM platform. So many of us, when we're on autopilot, we just go to our Instagram, swipe right, and then look at our DMs. Like, we actually probably jump into our Instagram more to look at what's going on with our DMs than actually the posts that are in it. So using chatbots off the back of carousel posts as well, put in multiple pictures, you can put up to 20. Somebody did this really well that I saw was Sean Casey. He actually, when we have content in videos, we have a bit of a story arc. We have the hook at the beginning, then we have some kind of setup, then we have the points that we're paying off, and then we might have an outro or a call to action. But it's really easy to create a story arc in a carousel. You start with a picture that you know, in the first 2 pictures probably, that's gonna be a bit obtrusive or it's gonna stop people in their tracks. So Sean, for instance, loves recycling, the picture of him working at McDonald's. Because it's such an unfamiliar surrounding, they want context. And the way they get the context from that is they swipe through the carousel and they don't realize they're actually being taken on a story. And then you go through the lows of, oh my God, I had a drink problem, drug problem, now I've got a business, I retired my parents, you're like fucking going on that story arc. And then at the end, he's like, oh, and now I help people get in shape, here's my app Glean, click the link in the bio, whatever it is. So when we can utilize social media and get into different positions, but get people to action the back of it, I think is a great thing to do. So not just providing people with links, but we can also send people on very complex different threads where people can interact with the chatbots. I don't know if I quite like that so far yet, but something sneaky I've caught Diran doing, and I tried this the other day for James' Academy and it works really well. I get people to DM me a certain word off my story. You can create a prompt that gets these automations working. Could be send me a message, react to my story, comment the word, or even actually any comment can get a reaction from your chatbot. And Diran cleverly has one where he asks them to DM something, it waits 30 seconds, then he DMs them saying, hold on just 1 second, and then he waits another 12 seconds and does a response message. So I was like, that's fucking brilliant. So I did one a few weeks ago where they DM me and I wait 45 seconds to respond. I want them to think it's not working. I want them to think, hold on, this fucking guy just told me to DM him, and I got absolutely 0 response back from him. Then I DM them saying, hold on just 1 second, mate. Then I wait another 15 seconds and I go, hold on. And then I get a video that I've pre-recorded of me getting into a little booth in an office that I'm working in. Hey mate, sorry about that. Just wanted to tell you about this offer, this offer, this offer. It feels more personalized. It feels more like you're going out your way. And I think people do actually like the idea of being sold to. At the end of that automation that ended up being 35 messages, I did tell them it was an automation. I said, oh, if you want to know about the mentorship, whatever it is. But for us, I think that whether or not that sits in our sales funnel of being part of our squeeze or our lead magnet, you could even say, DM me the word calories and I will give you a breakdown. It doesn't just have to be a link to a website. You can have messages with gaps in between. hey, just thought I'd let you know this is why it's important to count your calories. But some things you might have seen is, this is a post I did explaining macronutrients, this is this, this is this. Oh, by the way, if you were interested in looking at my prices for coaching, click here. The world of interacting with people as far as an automation has changed since I stood here, or wherever it was a year ago. What were we, Brighton last year? So implementing these, it's also a cheap way of getting engagements with people. So I think that chatbots was something I was really against. I thought it looked really cheap, but they work, and they're working for me, and I'm getting kind of 1,000 responses from it. And now we're going to start running a paid ad initiative as well, where the prompt from the paid ad is to get them to hit a DM rather than clicking a link in a bio. Some people also will just be inquisitive. They'll just want to know what happens when they do send that DM. We've done it for restocking new tonic, comment the word restock. Another thing that I've kind of done since last year is, I had a company approach me that wanted to repurpose my old content and post it on Facebook. So my Facebook will do about $1,000 a week in revenue from ads that they place into your videos. And even if you turn your monetization off, they still run ads in your videos. So this company came up and they were like, hey, we want to repurpose your old videos. We want to make you make more money. I was like, cool. So they've started going through my old catalogs of videos, and they've been changing the dimensions of the videos slightly, putting the captions in the right place, and they've been optimizing my old content to make money on Facebook. So our weekly rev on Facebook has gone from $1,000 to $5,000, which is great. When I look through my Facebook feed, I'm like, fuck, I didn't post that, I didn't post that, I didn't post that. It's these guys that are doing it. So I set up a chatbot that means any person that comments on my Facebook videos from posts that I don't even post will get a DM saying, hey, thanks for commenting on my video. Just to let you know, I do emails that help educate people about fitness and fat loss. You can get them absolutely free, and if you don't love them, you can unsubscribe. So even today, at this event, we've got this team in the UK that are ripping off my old videos, editing them, posting them on my behalf, getting me paid more, and those autoresponders are then converting people to my email list. So I'm now, if I look through my Aweber, it's like 200 subscriptions, 150 subscriptions, 100 subscriptions, 50 subscriptions, and that's passively growing my email list while I'm here. So if you can set up these automations in place, like these guys came along, they think that, you know, we're doing them a favor because we share the revenue with them, but they're doing us a favor because they're getting my algorithm moving, they're getting eyes on my content, and better yet, I'm getting people's email addresses off the back of it. So that's just great for me. Then sometimes you have these peaks and troughs in the business when my business partner's like, what did you do yesterday? Because business went well. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. But a video that maybe was posted ago got people to join my email list, and they got to day 14 in the email sequence, and then it's just started to generate sales. So I think anything that we can do that means we can just do the effort in the front part, and then people are nurtured, is the best part. So for me, that's the bit that excites me. All of the socials, the creations, everything I need to do at the front end, once that chatbot automation does it, I can almost let go of it, because I know that I've done all the work afterwards for them to either, in sales, they call it buy or die. Like if you're like contact someone on the phone, you're either interested or I'm deleting you off the sales list. And I do think in some respects, we should look at our leads through that. You're either going to be nurtured to the point that you want to do business with us, or I'm just going to give up on you. Because they're either interested in the business or they're not. They can either afford your services or they're not. They're either right for you or they're not. But that takes us on to the next point, which is something that I was frothing on when I was doing the course. Frothing is a bit of an Aussie term, but autoresponders, which is in essence when we set up an email sequence that fire out after we've written them. So we see these in loads of different businesses that have existed for years, but usually they'll just follow up and there's not really any kind of arc to it. So about 10 years ago, signed up to a guy's email list, give me 50 ways in 50 days to improve my business. I was explaining that in the course, and I was like, fuck, why do I not have one of these autoresponders? So for this mentorship, I created a 30-day sequence with 30 tips, bit of advice. It takes on average between 19 and 24 days to convert people. So you think that everyone's like, oh, it's a little bit too much. Well, it's not, and we can see it from the data. If you can take people on a journey where you're consistent, you're turning up the same day, and you can give some value to that person, because a lot of us seem to think that, oh, you post a bit online, you create a bit of goodwill, you can just ask people for their email address. Email addresses are very sacred things to people, and their email inbox is a very sacred place where they don't want clutter. Nothing's worse when you had a bender in Ibiza, you open your laptop and there's 58 emails. But then you rickle it down, you're like, fuck, there was only 6 that actually mattered. So people aren't just gonna give you their email address, but if you can get enough value to get in place for that. So things I fucked around with this year, 30-day email autoresponder for my business course. I then wrote a 4.5-month sequence for JSA. So I was like, fuck it. I got my 3 books that I'd already written. I sat at home, and I didn't have to write 4 months of emails in one day. I actually just stayed ahead of the automation. So I just kept adding to it. So every day I wrote 2 emails. So the automation got further and further and further ahead. So now I'm in a position where I kind of am flirting with the idea of retiring from email marketing, because any stuff that I can put in my fitness bucket on social media, I can just be like, yo, give me your email address, and over the next 4 months, if I send you an email every day for 4 months and you don't buy, you're probably not gonna fucking buy, right? 4 months of turning up every day, dropping fire. At that point, I've given up on them, that's fine. But in your business, if you can think about it, rather than trying to, I call it like the death of the PDF. PDFs have been rinsed, and people are like, oh, download my high protein PDF guide that's 16 pages. Even the behavior of people that are using those lead magnets, they're not gonna read it. And I sometimes think there's a danger of giving someone too much versus not enough. If you did an email autoresponder as a piece of value in that squeeze or lead magnet series, they get that one email and they go, oh, that was interesting, and you turn up the next day. If you overwhelm people by giving them too much value, I think they're just not, oh, I couldn't even finish the guy's PDF. I couldn't even finish this lady's glute workout mastermind guide. So how the fuck would I ever be able to do well on their course? So autoresponders are again something where I think if we can really understand our niche and our avatar and the person we're talking to, we can just map out 20, 30, 40 days of problems and just check in with them every day and send them a little bit. Now, they might know that those emails are automated. They might know that you've pre-written them, but if you can have an impact to make a relationship with that person where they actually feel like, oh my God, this person's turning up every day to change my life for the better, you're only gonna nurture a good relationship with them. I was walking down the street in Sydney and some guy like fist bumped me. He was like, bro, today's email was fucking sick. I was like, I have no idea what he's on about. I wrote that email like 3-4 months ago. But to him, it was an email that was sent today. So autoresponders, I think, are a really interesting kind of place that we're in. And this technology is over 10 years old, but it's just something that can feel a bit novel because everyone's trying to really revolutionize what value can I give to people, what can I do? But again, if you can make that sequence right, I mean, how many people could get 30, 40 pieces of daily content from you via text and not feel at least a little bit more obliged to being closer to doing business with you? And again, 100 people come into that sequence, you're only gonna nurture some and push some away. Does anyone have any questions about autoresponders before we move on? Okay, so let's say, again, I kind of know your business. When we were on the phone doing a call, I was like, I didn't know you could massage babies, right? I was like, I'm trying out, since our call, I'm like, if I push this around, you might fart. But then in my mind, I'm like, cool, maybe we have a block of 4 email automations. We could have a prenatal, a postnatal, and then a 1-year follow-up. So then if someone comes to you and says, hey, I've had a kid, don't send them the prenatal series, right? But if someone says, hey, I'm pregnant, I want baby massage, you could then have maybe a 30-day gap in between it, and then you might set a 365-day gap. Hey, it's me, I'm just checking in, or, you know, a year ago I was sending you some emails about this, it's been a year, I just wanted to see how you're getting on, how's your recovery, are you back to this? Usually the ladies that I work with have at least 75% of their strength back, whatever it is. So then, depending on where that person is in the cycle could be where you bring them into the automation. Now, this could become a little bit more complex. You might even need to go on Upwork and find a specialist that can build out that automation for you. But again, if you're a physio, you might have a prehab automation series that goes into a rehab automation series. Or you might have people that go through a fat loss list and then might buy a program, then you follow up with them in 3 months, go, hey, how was your fat loss progress? How much did you lose? Just to let you know, on average, after people train me for 3 months, their goal shifts to wanting to build muscle. So here's a muscle growth program. So it just means, where do you put those people into the funnel? But if I was you, yeah, I would segment, where are the people in on their journey? What information could I give them at that point? And then you could run maybe paid ads or organic ads to then bring them into that. So you could run a campaign for a week saying, okay, did you know that massaging a baby can help relieve wind? Did you know that, because now I know with Kian, I'm like wiggling his legs around, trying to get out farts. What do you think about the windy sticks?
I don't agree with them.
Well, that's a bit of fucking content, right? This is a windy stick and you should not stick this in your baby's ass. Let me tell you why. You know what I mean? So like, then at the end of that, you could be like, if you want to know how to relieve your baby of wind, I can send you a 7-stage guide. It comes to you by email, you know what I mean? So like, all of these different things. Are you unsure how to settle your baby? Did you know? You told me there were pressure points on the feet. I can't remember the pressure points, but I wish I did now. Do you know what? This is all content I need. When we had the call, I didn't have a son. But now I do. So even now, I'm interested. I'm like, Lucy, where's that foot massage thing? My baby's fucking crying. I just want to go to bed. So like, the content can be made. And if you were to say at the end of it, here is a, you know, the first email could say, if I teach you everything you need to know about massaging a baby, you're going to feel overwhelmed. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to send you 1-minute reads every day. Within that, you're going to learn how to do it yourself. By the end of it, you could be like, I do actually do this for a living. I've given you this is one of my favorite things to say. If I gave you this for free, imagine what you get if you fucking paid me. You know, and that's the same with the business content on my new smaller YouTube channel. If I can give people absolutely so much value, the first thing they think about is, fuck me. If this person does this for free, what would I get if they pay me? And again, it doesn't have to be revolutionary and different or anything, because a lot of the time when people pay you, they've already got the information they need from you. They're paying you to make sure they actually apply it. And again, it's why some high ticket courses where there is a good return on investment. For me, I did a YouTube course, it cost me 10 grand, and I was like, oh, I best fucking do it, or that 10 grand's gonna hurt. Slightly different, it's like the fitness return on investment. But again, yeah, I always just think that no matter what industry you're in, what little frequent emails could you send? And some people, again, they're like, does it have to be daily? Could it be weekly? Could it be less frequent? But again, I like the idea of being there every day. Doing Neat Up 24/7, when you set someone a step count, it's because even though your client who's overweight, you say, okay, I need you to hit the gym 3 or 4 days a week. There's still 3 days a week they're not training. So you're like, oh, how can I remind this person that they're on a fat loss journey? How can I remind them that they're trying to get fitter? I'll give them something they can do every day. That's why people do well on MyFitnessPal, because they're tracking every day. It's why they do well tracking their steps, because they do it every day. I seem to think that success is a build-up of doing these things every single day. So if your emails can be there every single day, perfect. And again, people are gonna have the jeans that don't do up, the boyfriend that chats shit to them, the person that, you know, disrespected them at work, whatever it is, if your email lands after their jeans don't do up, it's perfect timing. I just, imagine this, right? When I was younger and I was dating, I wanted to qualify girls quick, right? I don't go on a date and then a date a week later, and then a week later, I was like, fuck that. Let me see you on Monday, let's do something on Friday, and hopefully we can bang by Friday. Why? Because I'm not getting any younger. I wanna know if we're just a shag or if we're gonna be in a relationship. You know, and I'll be honest with girls. I say, look, they go, what are you looking for? I say, I just want to sleep with someone twice, all right? You know, that's all I want. If I sleep with someone twice, probably going to make it into a relationship. But I want to find out soon. I don't want to drag it out. So again, I'd much rather you hammered someone every day for a month to get closer to where you were than trying not to seem too keen. I like being keen. I think you should be keen too. Your 6th email in the series could even say, hey, yeah, me again. Oh, I'm emailing you too much. Sorry, I want to change your fucking life for the better. If this is too much enthusiasm, then fuck off and join someone else's plan. And the guy who originally did the autoresponder with me, a guy in Ireland, I actually went through his whole email sequence. I didn't buy his book. I was a twat. 52 days, I was like, yeah, bro, cheers for the tips. Buy a book, fuck off. But he added me to his broadcast. So then he started sending individual emails after that. And it was fine. It meant some days I got 2 emails or whatever. But I'll never forget, and I've said this loads of times in the course, but he sent an email drunk after his dad died. His dad died, went to his dad's funeral, and he wrote this email, and at the end he goes, if you think it's inappropriate that I'm trying to sell my book off my dad's death, go fuck yourself. I bought the book. I was like, wow, I've never been spoken to like that, and I like it. So the email side of things, communicate with people. Yeah, it's me, it's been 22 days. When the fuck are you gonna do this? And sometimes you should tell people to unsubscribe. Look, I've seen on the analytics you've not clicked anything, why don't you just fuck off? People are like, who do you think you are? And they're like, I like it. And if they do fuck off, they're cleaning your list anyway. They're getting rid of dead wood that doesn't want to be in there. Did you have a question? Okay, so we've got several platforms. MailChimp, hate it. I just think it's shit. I think it's clunky. I have to use it for IFS, and I don't enjoy it. We've got Aweber, which I love. It's basic. It's just text-based. It's not too complex. They've got amazing customer service. I use Klaviyo for my business mentorship because I'm in partnership with another company, and Klaviyo is really good. And then the last one is SendGrid. My business partner made me use SendGrid. It's all right. I wasn't happy to go there because I grew my list on Aweber, and when we went to SendGrid, I lost people's names. And what you can do in your email series is when people sign up, you get their name. You get name, email address. Then you can put a little bit of HTML code into your emails so you can insert their name. So as you're getting to the end of the email, and especially putting this in your autoresponder, you're like, listen, Simon, are we gonna fucking do this or not? Because Simon, I've been emailing you for 42 days. Do you wanna be a fat cunt or not, Simon? And then they know what's happening, but seeing your name just gives you a different emotional response. So if you're into abusing people to get a sale, like I am, our borderline was abusing the fuck out of people for IFS. Because I was looking at the sales and I was like, right, you fucking dumb fucks. You can come here, you can learn all of this, but it's quite therapeutic as well. I quite like abusing people. Maybe I've got a problem, I'm not even sure. But the emails can be just such a good place for you to do it. So I don't send emails from ManyChat. I don't understand that part of it yet. I'm still figuring it out. I actually might one day just hire the ManyChat expert and just be like, teach me everything. But what I would use is ManyChat to get people to go to the landing page or the squeeze page that I want to collect their email address. Then I take them to the Aweber page, and it depends what campaign it is, because if it's a B2B campaign, they're going to the Klaviyo sign-up page. And then some wizards that I'm in business with will retarget the fuckers. But then if it's my B2C fitness business, they're going to the Aweber page, because then they're going to go into the 4-month autoresponder. But then if it's to get leads for IFS, they're going to a MailChimp page, which is hosted by jamessmith.live. So it depends on the campaign, which is why I prefer just sending traffic, because that's really what we're doing. We are just sending traffic places. And I was on a podcast a few weeks ago, and the guy's like, oh, so what's it like, CEO, being a leader? I'm like, no. Just because I'm a director on a company doesn't mean I'm a leader. I'm shit, I'm disorganized, and I fucking hate admin. The one thing I cannot handle is staff or managing staff. All the people I've hired quit. I didn't even fire them, they quit. I've got empty offices at my facility in Sydney. They all left, right? I'm terrible with people. I've come to realize that the only thing I'm good at is sending traffic to our website. People try talking, moving forward, with campaigns, initiatives, with RL. I'm like, mate, just give me the fucking URL. Just tell me what people you want and how you want them sent there, and just leave me to it. Newtonic, send people to the website. JSA or AOC, send them to the fucking website. That's the bit I like. We'll get their email address, I send an email to send them to the fucking website. We're just traffic hounds. So whichever way you do it best, that's it, really, yes. So, depending on how you want to do it, and we'll get into this a little bit later in the talk, but say I create a page that signs up people and gives me their email address. I go, hey, go to this page, give me your email address, cool. That's now put into my list, and I usually only run one list at a time. From there, I could either add them to automation day one, or I could just broadcast to them. I can just send them emails whenever I want. So for IFS, you just get abused when I need ticket sales. But for my fitness business, they need a little bit more nurturing. I actually write the first 6 or 7 emails without selling to them. So it depends on the person you're talking to, and you might want to make sure that the beginning of the automation might have more value. And the reason this is better is if someone joins your email list late, they might just get thrown in at the deep end to a broadcast where you're like trying to be funny, talking about something that might get a little bit overwhelmed. I think automations are great as well, because if you continually build to them, you're actually creating a marketing asset that that you have confidence that if one of your posts goes semi-viral, your email list will have a bump in uptick and they can go on a journey. It's, people don't like starting a movie but they miss the first 5 minutes. So that's why I've gone kind of back on my word, and I love automations versus broadcasts. But then, let's say you have a bad day. You can send a broadcast on top of the automation, and you can start the email with, yes, you're probably getting 2 emails today, but let me tell you about how shit my day was. And then you go through it. At the end of the email, the only way your day could be worse than me is if you don't join my program. It's if you don't give me your money. 70. Rookie numbers. Got to pump them up. Yeah, so if you did a broadcast right now, you could potentially just shout out loud now and get more people to listen. But if you started setting up an automation, you now know that when 10 more people come, 15 people more come, they're going through it and the effort would be worth it. Because that's exactly where I was when I started a new list. I was like, if I'm going to put in all this effort, I want that asset to be there so that in a year's time, it could be double, triple, quadruple. Whereas if you do just start email marketing now, you're like, oh, fuck, it's only 70 people. If I convert 3%, it's hardly going to change my life. How many followers you got? 14. Okay, still fine. Again, what's that, 5%? Not terrible. I would just try and bump those numbers up a little bit. Even only sending emails to 70 people will make you better at sending emails to people. So it's like, I'm not playing golf this weekend, so I'm not going to go to the driving range. Like, but maybe if you went to the driving range more, you might be playing golf more at the weekend. So it's one of those double-edged swords where if you're just going to use paralysis now, because your email list isn't big, your email list might never get big because you never really sent the emails before. It's all about feedback. So I would start sending emails even if no one was reading them, because it's just going to make you better at sending emails. There's a creative muscle in your mind that you need to go to. Paul Alima just walked in, one of the most creative minds ever. I thought he was just an athlete, but then when I started making content with him, he's like, nah, we need the 35 mil, we're gonna come in at this angle, you're gonna come round. He watches it back, he goes, nah, doesn't look right. Cool, Ewan, get the 45 millimeter, Darren, you come out in front. But that muscle has to be trained. You don't just wake up being a fucking director wanting to make content. You need to get better at it, get better at it. And then he needs edits that go wrong and he needs edits that go right so he can get the feedback to know whether or not that was good. The real bombs, he goes, fuck, we weren't tight enough in that hook. You know, we weren't tight enough on that shot. Another one goes really well, he gets the feedback as to why it was. So I can never imagine a world or a scenario where you shouldn't be doing the repetitions in it. Alima still put the effort into it when he had no followers, when he was our mate. When he'd go, oi, tag me in that, Jimbo. Oi, tag me in that. Now look at him, 10 million, shut up. I don't care about open rate and click-through rate. It just depresses the fuck out of you. I'll write the best email I've ever written, there's 300 unsubscribes. I'm like, fucking hell, that's more people that's in this room now. Don't look, it's just gonna depress you. Open rates, I don't even think are actually accurate because when I go through my inbox, Darren might have sent a great email, or Chris Williamson, he writes the best emails. I ain't read one in fucking years. But I stay subscribed to his list to show support. Do it for Newtonic, brother. But when I go through and click on all these fucking, Ali Abdal, nice guy, not reading your emails. I'm still subscribed though, I'm showing love. I click on them all, I click mark as unread, mark as read. But when you mark an email as read, it comes through as a high open rate. So I don't think we can look at open rates as being important. What I think is important is send emails, what happens to my Stripe account? Send emails, how many people go through to my landing page? And we'll get into landing pages in a second, but another reason, there are a lot of people in my mentorship that try and cut corners with the landing page. And I'm like, please, just use lead pages. It's expensive, but two scenarios. If you're getting loads of traffic to your page and no one's buying, you have a conversion problem. If you're getting fuck all people come to your landing page and no one's buying, you have a traffic problem. And if you don't have the analytics on your landing page to determine between the two, you don't know what to double down on. Because a traffic problem and a conversion problem are two completely different things. So open rates, click-through rates, unsubscribe rates, doesn't matter. You're just gonna depress yourself. Oh, but it was really funny and 30 people unsubscribed. Don't do it. I don't look. I couldn't tell you. Okay. We will have time for more questions at the end. Okay, the next point on this was spotting trends that work and maybe don't work. And one thing that everyone in here has done is created a carousel post. And it was interesting because when I did a carousel post, you know that's not being put into someone's feed. We all started doing reels because we know that reels are gonna go to cold audiences. The TikTokification of social media means that when TikTok came along, suddenly everything was changed. None of us scroll on the following page on TikTok. We are on the For You page because we get more excited about having content collated to our likes and needs than we do the subscribers or the people that we follow. Same on YouTube. When you're on your YouTube homepage, it is not just the accounts you're subscribed to. If anything, it's 80% of the accounts you're not subscribed to. So the TikTokification on Facebook, on Instagram, on everything means that social media now is putting your reel in front of cold audiences to see how it responds. And that means that the algorithms of these platforms can gauge who's interested in your content. Carousels do not do that. You never scroll in through Instagram and see a carousel post and go, who the fuck is that? But the analytics of how many people of your existing following see a carousel post is brilliant. And actually, you can see now, you can do this on YouTube and you can do it on Instagram. You can now create posts that aren't shown to cold audiences. And you can even on YouTube actually change a setting where you post a video and your subscribers don't get notified. So if you're ever trialing out a new type of content on YouTube and you want to put it out, you go, do not notify my subscribers. I only want to gauge this to a cold audience. But carousel posts are great because you know it's only going to your audience. So you can overshare, you can use some of your idiosyncratic personality points or whatever it is, because if you try using something that's a little bit too outlandish in a reel, it could fucking bomb. We've got a lad in the mentorship who is, I think he's from up north, and he starts his reel saying, hiya love. Like a northern, hiya love. I'm like, stop fucking doing that, mate. In your town, fine. On the internet, you're a cunt. Save it for something else. Carousel posts at the moment, I think are great, as I said before, because of that story arc. And again, you might be tired, you might be on the plane, you might be at the airport. We always don't have the production we need to put out a fire piece of content. But for once, I'm seeing so many people get such tremendous amounts of engagement from just a collation of pictures. It's almost like we've gone back in time to Instagram from 4 years ago. But the combination of a carousel post with a good story arc and a chatbot and a call to action is something that I think you all should try out. Because I was very adamant that reels are good for growth, reels are good for getting in front of cold audiences, but now we actually have a tool at our disposal for our existing audience. And I think that's something that you can very tactically play on. I've seen really good combinations with that. And again, completely ripped that off Sean Casey. I was like, why is everyone, the guy, oh, I've retired my parents. Did you? I didn't see any proof to say that. His mum's in on it. It's good for business. Yeah, fucking hell, son, say what you want. Then Adam Sullivan copied him. Oh, I've retired my mum. Listen, mate, we're getting bored of it now. All right? Of course you did. Up to you. You could do up to 20 now. It was 10 before. But again, I would say, whatever feels right. Here's a golden rule that he taught me, actually. And this is the same with any piece of content. You are better off being too succinct and too short than you are going too long. Exactly the same in email marketing. In email marketing, if you have the choice of being 10% too short or 10% too long, go too short. Because the damage that happens from a message being too long and people navigating away from something because it was too long, I would rather, he says, you are better leaving people wanting more than giving them too much. Case in point, Andrew Schultz went to go see him live, amazing. Theo Von thought it'd be 25 minutes too long. And there is nothing worse than being in front of a comedian that you really respect and go, fucking hell, mate, I wish you finished 20 minutes ago. I got ants in my pants, ruined my night. These are all things that changed since last year. Another thing that I would say I've changed on is the idea of creating evergreen content. I worked with a creator called Ed, who does Film Booth and Creator Booth. He had this massive channel and he stopped posting on it. I was like, why aren't you posting on a channel? He goes, I don't need to. He's created so many videos that just sit there that he's getting a churn rate of leads, views, and just business from a channel that he no longer needs to post on. And I was like, fuck, do you know what we do not get sold on enough as fitness coaches? Is creating evergreen content that you can just leave somewhere to do your work for you. So I've started a new YouTube channel for business. I have the YouTube channel for the fitness stuff. But what's crazy is, if you get a good title and a thumbnail, you can actually just leave a video and YouTube just works proactively to get views for you. I did a video last week and 7 days after posting it, it's just started going off. And we're getting leads into our business from it. And I think that it's very easy to get caught up with the Instagram, instant gratification. But I've really got this like new invigoration for creating evergreen content. For the guys in the mentorship, they're about to get a course on YouTube because YouTube is a fucking bit of a cunt. It's so hard. You do need to go all in on it. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna dedicate a couple hours to YouTube here and there. But for any of you that are in your business and you're getting to a point where you're starting to free up a bit of time, it is something that I think would be good because the energy that we're putting into our socials and our businesses, it's only gonna fade over time. And since having a kid, fucking hell, you are like 75% less productive. So I think we all need to start planning for our futures because some people in here, some a little bit younger, some a little bit older. And if you can start getting excited by the idea of creating some evergreen content that can maybe generate leads and views for your businesses over time whilst you leave them there, the second you have the capacity to it, I see YouTube as a growing place that's going to expand over the next few years. I think that, I don't know if you guys agree with me, Netflix has been shit for like 6 months. Like, I go on Amazon Prime, then I go on Apple, and I'm just navigating between all of these places, and none of them are actually that good anymore. They're like the odd series that comes here and it comes online, whatever. But now, not even just myself, but I see it in my missus, we go on YouTube before anything else. And we're starting to use YouTube as our main way of watching TV and absorbing content. Now, if I'm feeding a baby where I know that my hands are gonna be tied up for 30 minutes, I'm going on YouTube and I'm looking for a long piece of content. I'm looking for something that I can watch and not have to worry about. I don't wanna start a new series because I can't do it unless my missus is here. I don't wanna do this, do that. I see a big trend of YouTube being the place that people go to as the new TV. So again, as far as moving forward, wouldn't it be nice for you to make a fat loss video where, I don't know, you put a bit of skin in the game, you do a fat loss challenge where you cut 11 kilograms in 7 weeks. It's fucking miserable and you hate your life, but you document it really well. How long did you do 1,200 calories, Jane? A week, and it fucking sucked, right? But the post banged. Yeah. And you're doing the YouTube video on it?
Yeah, the YouTube videos are about 700 views.
All right, but you're getting good. Every time we see a post, it's improving, everything like that. But imagine you did like a video online, fat loss challenge, whatever it is, I did keto for 3 months, whatever. If you could have a call to action in that video through your landing page or squeeze page, whatever it is, imagine just leaving that video there and it just collating views over time. And then you add another video to the channel and you'll find that people go back and binge it. I always am trying to envision a world where even my big YouTube channel now, I've completely given up on it and it does £2,000 or £3,000 a month in AdSense. So although that's okay money, that's just showing you how many views that channel's getting without me giving it any love. I just wish I'd made more content on it that was in line with my business and not trying to go fucking viral talking about Whoop and shit. But £12,000 from the Whoop video. But we should all get excited about the idea of creating some form of evergreen content that we just leave alone and just generates us views, reels, whatever it is, and engagement, because Instagram and TikTok and Facebook just doesn't do that much. And it becomes very exhausting when we all become like hamsters on the wheel. We work really hard for an asset and a video and we post it and we just get a spike for like 24 hours. Then we might repost it again and get another little spike. But YouTube's difficult But if you guys can get the capacity into it, it's an exciting place. Just be willing to be depressed when you put loads of effort into a video and you think it's going to go viral and then nothing happens. And yeah, makes you want to top yourself. But anyway, as far as evergreen content, is anyone out there doing well on YouTube? Oh yeah, 700 views, yeah? No, I'm joking. So I messaged Ed before I did his course. I said, mate, I've just watched like 15 of your videos. He goes, yeah, I did it on purpose. And what do you mean? He goes, that's the exact reason why I created it. He creates a video, then at the end of the video, he has a hook to go to another video. But he actually starts with video 1, then in video 2, he has a call to action as to why you should watch video 1. Then he does video 3, which gives you a call to action to watch video 2. Then you do video 2, get to the end, you watch video 1. But imagine if you were, like from a personal training standpoint, you could do a video where you watch Jeff Nippard's video on the best way to do tricep exercises. You make your own spin that's a little bit cooler or, isn't Jeff Nippard being a geek. But then at the end of it, you're like, and that's pretty much all you should know about tricep training. But if you're someone that actually wants big arms, you're not going to get the look you want with just training your tricep, which is why I made this video here, which gives you everything you need to know about bicep training. Then you do the bicep video. Then at the end of it, you go, but when it comes to arm training and you wear a t-shirt, the muscle that's out the most is forearm training. So watch this video here and I'll teach you everything you need to know about forearm training. And then the beautiful thing about this is on YouTube, the main score is average view duration. So if someone watches 3 of your videos that are 10 minutes long, you get a 30-minute score. And YouTube can go, Jesus Christ, whenever we put people in front of this channel and they watch 30 minutes of content, that just makes YouTube froth and goes, what other people can we put here? Because YouTube wants people on the platform for the maximum amount of time possible. So you can try and make a long video, but the longer the video, the more complexity it is in having the story arc. Trying to keep people engaged 28 minutes into a video is difficult. And it requires a certain amount of skill with editing and things like that. So if you then wanted to make more frequent, shorter videos, as long as you can keep people engaged in what you're doing, you can get that average view duration. But yeah, I think we should all be excited about the idea of having content that we can post and just leave it to do its thing. Leave it to keep getting things. And then when you want to bump in the algorithm, you put another video out. But as you know, it's just exhausting and requires some planning. So if you're in the infancy of your business on social media, maybe don't get into it just yet. But I couldn't believe that I kind of just left my channel to die and it won't die. It just won't die. It just keeps getting views and videos having upticks. It's absolutely crazy. And coming on from that point, another thing that I didn't really use last year, who is posting on YouTube at the moment? Cool, a few of you. Thumbnailtest.co.uk. You see Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, every hour the thumbnail changes. There's software that's doing that for him. So for the business channel that I've done recently, you go on Thumbnail Test, and I had a video that was generating me a good amount of revenue for the business. So I created 6 different titles for it, where it said, I made this amount of money as a PT, as a personal trainer, as a fitness coach, as a fitness business, as a fitness professional. I then changed the title every hour on the hour for 25 days so I can get a good indication of what word is going to benefit my business the most. Because PT in America means physical therapist. So maybe I do want to use the word personal trainer. So for you guys, you could A/B split fat loss, weight loss, diet, fat loss hack, fat loss cheat. And you get to understand, does the word cheat work better with your audience or does the word hack work better? Then out of the analytics that you get from Thumbnail Test, you can even see what titles and thumbnails got what average view duration or click-through rate. So if I use the word PT, I was getting less views, but they were watching for a longer period of time. But when I used the word fitness business, we got more views, but they came and left the video earlier. And that level of analytics, although it can seem overkill, I only need to test the video once, and I now know what word I need to be using in every single video from here on in. PT, personal trainer, fitness coach. This can then help you guys understand what words, titles, thumbnails, or whatever are working with your audience. Because Diary of a CEO are just trying to optimize their thumbnails for clicks. And then out of those clicks, they want people they're gonna watch for a long period of time. If you're gonna spend fucking 9 hours doing a video for YouTube, but you won't spend 9 minutes creating several titles, again, you're just not really getting the feedback that you want from it. Again, the feedback from the emails, feedback from everything. You wanna see what your audience responds to so you can cater to that and double down on it. Similarly to the landing pages. For people that are creating landing pages, I remember for James Smith Academy, I created this banging landing page, and my business partner was like, can you make 2 more variations of it? So I did one that had not a lot of text and one that had way more text. And in my mind, I thought the one with more text would do better, but the analytics said it didn't. So I was like, fuck. So he goes, why not make one with no text? I was like, mate, it's not gonna work. I'll put a video on it, but it's not gonna work. It's not enough input. Way better. I was like, fuck, these motherfuckers are watching videos and not reading text. So I went away and made 3 more videos. One was 30 seconds, one was 60 seconds, one was 90 seconds. The one that was 90 seconds converted the best. So I go away, cool, I'm gonna now make a 90 seconds, a 60 seconds, and a 2.5-minute video. So by looking at the feedback that you're getting from your audience in certain places, you can know how to put things together so that they remain engaged in it. And so many people were just not looking at that. If marketing departments are doing it in companies, we can do it. And again, this software to use it just isn't that expensive. Anyone use thumbnail test at the moment? YouTube now has it built in so you can test up to 3 thumbnails at the same time. So in the little area where you're uploading a thumbnail, it can let you put them in. I don't know if that technology is good enough yet, because if you put the same thumbnail in 3 times, it doesn't get a 33, 33, 33 split. You'll get one that's like 55 and one that's 25, which just doesn't make sense if you do an AAA split. You know, just some insight into it. Yes? You don't do it, it does it. Wouldn't want to do it just for 24 hours, but you could get 12 thumbnails changing every hour on the hour for like 20 days. So then you have audiences in different countries, because if I only did it for 1 day and I posted the video when Australia are awake and the UK are asleep, it wouldn't give me an ideal representation. You get to change every 4 hours, every 12 hours, whatever it is. But that's why you'll see a Diary of a CEO episode, and then you go on a little bit later and you're like, hold on, that's the same person, but that's a different thumbnail. Hold on, that's a different title. They're testing to see what's working. Because if they're gonna fly some cunt from America to sit in front of Stephen Bartlett and chat shit about Huel, they're gonna wanna make sure they get maximum eyes on it. And a 10% increase in views for them is just more exposure to their brand, affiliates, whatever it is. So I know it can seem like overkill, but this shit should excite people, where they go, oh, A/B split testing yourself in the thumbnail versus not being in the thumbnail. Because a lot of us seem to think we need to be in our thumbnails, but maybe the analytics says so, maybe it doesn't. And then you know what to keep doing from there on in. Fucking hell, this is supposed to be like a 5-minute segment about things that were different from last year. Yeah, so even with old videos, you can change it. So there's a guy in Sydney who is a YouTube whiz called Marcus. So I sit with Marcus, and he says to me, oh, show me this high converting video that you have. And it was a webinar that I did maybe a few months ago for the mentorship, and I called it Sales and Marketing Masterclass Webinar. And he goes, bit of a shit title, isn't it? And I went, do you know what? That is a shit title. And it was me in the thumbnail with the thing that said webinar, and he was like, it's a shit thumbnail. I was like, do you know what? That is a shit thumbnail. And he goes, no offense, but I can't believe you would have such a shit title and thumbnail on that webinar you did. He's like, if you put a better title and thumbnail on that, you could do a lot better. So I was like, okay. And he showed me a guy in Dubai called Charlie, who has the most chaotic thumbnails ever, where he just gets screen grabs from different things and put them together. So I actually went and took some random screen grabs from Google Images, a picture of myself, a Stripe account, and then there's like a Venn diagram to something to do with makeup. I just took the first Venn diagram I could. It doesn't even make sense if you look at the thumbnail. I put it up and I changed the title to say, the lifetime of JSA has done like $13 million or something in the Stripe. So I screenshotted that, and he goes, make the title, how I made $13 million so you can steal it, put it in brackets. And he goes, now take the I when talking about yourself and make it lowercase. And it's actually really difficult to do a single I lowercase anywhere on your computer, because it thinks you shouldn't be having a lowercase I if you're talking about yourself. He goes, make the title look like you don't give a fuck. Lowercase I, cool. Sean, one of my business mentors, goes, James, one of your old videos did $3,000 this week. Why is that? And you can see where my video died. I changed the title and thumbnail, boom, and it's still climbing. Now I've got people, on your YouTube studio going, hey bro, got so much knowledge out of this, what an amazing webinar. It's like a 4-month-old video. So yeah, and he said to me like, you're better off over-delivering in your title and thumbnail, but at least getting some fucking views, because if the video's dead, no one's watching it. So definitely play around with it to see if you can learn from it at the same time. All right. The next segment we're going to look into within this, I know we covered off a few things there, but we're getting some of the nitty-gritty stuff now. What's working in 2024? If we look at the landscape of creators around us, what is kind of like trends that are working? The first one has to be hooks. Now, the hook is the first thing we say in a video, and so many people are still butchering this, where you might try and introduce yourself, or you just kind of waffle a little bit. Now, there are different types of hooks that we can be using. Statement hooks, where you say something as it is. Question hooks, where you pose a hook to someone. We have visual hooks, where we can show something to someone. Maybe it's a prop, maybe it's an analogy, maybe it's a metaphor. This glass of Skittles represents this, whatever it is. We can then have hooks where we show people a preview of what's to come, which is often found in longer form content, or if you had a skit of some kind or anything like that. Have you ever seen like if someone's playing a prank in the street on the TikTok, they'll actually take the response from the person, use it as the hook, so then you watch the video to get the context of what's just happened. We need to really strategize what we're doing for the first 3-4 seconds of a video. Because if we look at the behavior of people absorbing content, the majority of us, if I was to hazard a guess, wake up, try not to use our phones too much. Any digital interactions are going to be business-led, whether it's emails, Slack, Discord, whatever it is. We then manage people in our networks, clients, whatever. Then as the day goes on, as we start to get a bit more exhausted and a bit more fatigued, as the evenings come around, we start getting into that dopamine chasing, get into bed. You're like, we could watch another episode of Breaking Bad, or why don't we get into bed an hour earlier and just scroll the fuck out of TikTok? Yeah, sold. And you get in there and you're there with your partner in bed. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, look at this dog. This dog's so cute. And my missus is crying. I'm like, why are you crying? She's like, sometimes she'll get upset seeing someone's TikTok about their dog dying. And then you'll see her at the end of the bed kissing our dog, mourning his death when he's not even died yet. But you're there and your finger is literally only giving people 2 or 3 seconds before you're on to the next one. If you only give other creators a couple of seconds to impress you, why do you think other people would give you any more time? So whether it's being inquisitive, whether it's moving props, whether it's having questions, whether it's having statements, you really need to try and analyze what it is that people are doing to get you in there. There's one guy on social media who's massive, who unboxes things for a living, but his hook is always spinning the box and he sniffs it. And what you're looking for is context. He's like a Mexican guy. He'll spin a box with a TV in it and then be like, and then he starts unboxing it. And the first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But that's exactly what he wants me to think. If he was there like, hi, my name's Tony. This is a Samsung 85-inch Octavia TV in ULED. You're like, fuck off, mate. I don't care. But just having something that's a little bit nuanced to it. Sean Casey is the very nuanced, monotone. He's just there. People are like, hold on, is this guy for serious? He's not even got any facial expressions. It works for him. Adam Sullivan is roundhouse kicking the fuck out of something. Whatever it is that you can do to just try and get people's attention those first few seconds. And intrigue is going to be probably the best emotion that you want to captivate from someone with your hook. That's actually what YouTube titles and thumbnails are looking to do, is to build intrigue. So rather than going, let's think about it in a fat loss context, you wouldn't be like, use this method to lose 6 kilograms. You'd be like, how this man lost 6 kilograms in 3 days without having to restrict calories. You're like, how the fuck did he do it without restricting calories? If you can create some kind of intrigue, that's where you're gonna get the response from people to give you a little bit more time. So when it comes to recording, whenever you get the camera going, you're there in front of the camera, sometimes I get in front and I'll be like, when it comes to doing Instagram Reels, there are 3 times, I'm like, nah, it's not good enough. And then I come back and then I'm like, when it comes to Instagram Reels, I'm like, nah, it's not good enough. I literally, if you look at my edit before I've done the edit, it's just me fucking up. Declan, he's there. I'll say something and I'm just like, it's not good enough. And then I'll be there sat in silence and I'll just be there in front of the camera rolling. And I'll be like, this is why your Instagram Reel sucks. Cool, right. And then I'm thinking about the next part of the reel. Just give it several goes. You can actually have 3 or 4 different hooks in your video. Maybe you plan it out, maybe you strategize it a little bit. Something I've definitely got a little bit better at recently is actually trying to script videos. I used to think that I was like, oh, I don't need to script video. Like Darren, for instance. Is he gone? That guy needs to be more organized. If he just scripted what he was going to say in his videos, he would have a much nicer car than he does, all right? But we're proud and we think, I have a good brain and I'm smart and I've got followers on social media. When it comes to just typing, I will type things and go, fucking hell, that's impressive. That's almost like too smart to come out of my brain, but it came out. When you're trying to articulate something, sometimes you have these different blocks, the camera's in front of you. If you can just go somewhere that's chilled, maybe it's a laptop, sat in a prep, whatever, you can just type out hooks. And, oh, take that out. Oh, it's a little bit too long, whatever it is. Again, so many of us are putting so much effort into the fucking video. Jaden might have even done 1,200 calories for fucking 7 days, but then he only spends 3 minutes doing his hook. I'm like, where's the discrepancy and effort between that? But if you can just work on it, look what works well. And again, when you're absorbing content, don't let these people just trick you into watching their videos. Be like, hold on a second, what magic just occurred for me to end up 19 minutes into this fucking person's video? What was it that this person said that means I'm now a diehard fan for them? Even if you look at, anyone follow Matt Armstrong on YouTube? Guy who's currently fucking dominating it, buys crash damaged cars. Have you seen him? Does them up? We're gonna talk about him in a little bit. His videos always start with him getting into a car and slamming the door and talking to the camera. And he's setting the scene of his hook with being in a car. And every single video, I'm like, oh, it must work. It's just the way that he's set in context so that people understand what he's talking about. But we actually have a lot to learn from Matt Armstrong a little bit later. None of you saw the guy that bought Marcus Rashford's crashed car? He's a fucking wizard, bro. This guy's a fucking wizard. And everyone thinks he's just a mechanic. He's a master storyteller. And something he's done, right? He creates 1 hour long videos of these cars that he's fixing, and they're getting like 1 to 2 million views in the first 12 hours. Then he created a Mark II YouTube channel where he puts all of the videos together. So he has a 4-hour YouTube video and he puts them on and they're getting 18, 19 million views because the average view duration is so massive between them. But anyway, we won't get too carried away with that. But that guy, he's making wedge. Spent 200 grand on a crashed car. Wedge. Okay. We spoke a bit about the avatar behavior and understanding where the people are that you're doing content in front of. Another thing that's working in 2024, good production. I think that making content on an iPhone, those days are coming to an end. Even though the iPhone cameras are amazing, I set like a minimum, I hope you don't mind. Even the DJI Pocket Osmo 3. Everyone know about this camera? So this camera films in 4K. It doesn't look as good as a Sony a7 III or anything else. But these, do you mind if I like, so it's got a battery pack on it at the bottom, which you can use to charge. But this is just a really easy camera that you can use for content. This also will track you, so if you're doing any movement stuff in the gym. Also, if you have an iPhone in front of you, when you're like, you know, you're trying to do an Eddie Abu in a fucking shopping supermarket, you're like, oh yeah, hi mate, yeah, do it again mate, yeah. It's a bit invasive. Or if you go in one of these fucking cameras to the supermarket, yeah, nice one brother. But these are actually great because not only do they have a gimbal in it, which means it has really good stabilization, you can also just film on the sly and people don't even know you've got a fucking camera in front of them. Also means that if you're in the gym, you could just maybe stick that up onto the squat rack and just have it track you around. It's not invasive, it's not like getting in people's faces. Also the stabilization on this, that you can move it without it getting like jittery or whatever. These are great. You can also film in portrait when you're using it so that you can film landscape portraits, whether you're doing YouTube, you're doing Reels, whatever it is. These also come, oh, fucking salesperson. I should be on telesales. I should be on a shopping channel. Get your DJI Pocket Osmo 3. It also comes with a mic that connects to it so you can use it, although the audio on it is great. These are not that expensive. How much does this cost you? 700, 600, 500 pounds. So you already have the mic, so you got the one without. Cool. There's someone here, Kate, where is she? She's trying to pin me down for a podcast. Darren goes, mate, I just did a podcast with this chick. Did the podcast. Then afterwards she goes, let's do it on video. He went, what do you mean let's do it on video? We just did the podcast. She was like, yeah, I'll ask you the same questions, but on video. I'm like, what? Anytime you film, right? So let's say, for argument's sake, this is an external microphone. Let's say, actually, I've actually got an external microphone. When you have a microphone like this one, you can just use it to record an audio file. Then if you have dog shit audio on this, in any editing software, whether it's DaVinci, Premiere Pro, whatever it is, you can just press synchronize and it will take your good audio and it will line it up with your shit audio, then you just drag it over the top and you now have amazing audio. Similarly to whenever you're doing like a podcast or there's any media production, you know when people clap in front of the camera or they have that little director's thing? That's so you get a spike in the audio, so it makes it easy to line everything up so that the audio and the video are in the same place. Look at that, every day a school day. And also, because you would have seen in my content for ages ago that I would have had like a little magnet. You would have seen that little square magnet thing on my chest. Everyone thought it was just my t-shirt. It's because I had a microphone underneath. But now I've been fucking with, because I just absolutely froth good audio content, I've actually taped a microphone to the underside of my vest so it just looks better in content. I want people thinking, where's the fucking microphone, brother? There's one there, I know, but for everything else. When it comes to like getting into production, I think everyone should aspire to at least have a camera that's built for purpose to do it. Because the iPhone is to do so many different things, and although it's great for taking pictures, stabilization, exposure, things like that, these are just great. For any of you that have got an editor, you can also film in log. Log means that it looks like dog shit, but it means that when your editor starts manipulating the colors, they can make it look sexy as fuck. Again, when it comes to price, you don't even need to know what you're doing to use this, whereas with these things, you've got f-stop, exposure, what's the other one? ISO, f-stop, exposure, shutter speed, there it is. And then everyone's like, what does that mean? When you start with cameras, it doesn't fucking stop. So the real camera guys are like, you film in auto mode. You're like, yeah, well, I haven't got a videographer. They're like, pathetic. When you film in auto, it's not getting your ISO right. It's not getting your f-stop. You know, a lot of cameras have the manual focus thing where you can turn off the autofocus. That's what the OGs do. They get you in line, do it all. But anyway, you could tell I obsess about this stuff, and this is why I have no staff. Getting a good camera quality. I see it over and over again where I say to people, I'm like, look, the content's getting better, but the way it looks isn't. And I just think, honestly, getting one of these or something similar is so much better. Because when you buy one of these cameras, you're also reducing the barrier to do content. You could literally be like, Mum, hold that. And she can't fuck it up. She cannot fuck it up. You give your mum an iPhone, she's recording her own face while she's supposed to be doing stuff with you. So yeah, really good. Even the built-in audio to these is great. And they're versatile. You can even use them as webcams. And yeah, thank you very much. Sorry? That one? DJI Pocket Osmo 3. Another thing you can do as well is, let's say you want continuous audio, but you don't want continuous video. You can also press and hold the record button and, maybe not on this one, there you go. When the red light's on, that's now recording as a microphone device. So in essence, if that red light is on, irrespective, if that camera died right now, this will still take audio. And this now works as if it's an external microphone. So let's say you're recording someone and you're worried they're gonna go out of range because there's a receiver on that camera, this is a transmitter, it would be fine, it would still have an audio file on that. So let's say you're worried your missus is cheating on you. You could get the red light on, hide it in a bag when she goes to work, come home, listen to the whole thing. I fucking got you, bitch. I got you. A fucking MP3. Just saying. Don't use an AirTag though, it notifies them. As far as effort, me clipping it here to here is 2% more effort. To me, it looks better, right? Imagine this, say me and you are doing a reality TV show, right? And we're gonna put it on YouTube and we wanna sell it to BBC or Channel 4, or even we're doing a movie, right? And we're invited on set. Can you imagine in any fucking world that you were to watch a film and you're like, hold on, I can see the microphone. You go, you lazy fucking cunts. You lazy fucking cunts. So for me, I'm like, I'll be honest with you. I wanna over exceed the level of quality that I need to do. Maybe 1080p with a mic on my shirt is fine. So I'm gonna film it in fucking 6K and I'm gonna get Declan to change the log files to make it look sexy as fuck. And I'm gonna hide the mic so they don't know where it fucking is. Like, I wanna be over delivering on everything. I want people to watch my videos and go, fuck, this is better than it should be. Because with so many people all doing and saying the same thing, it could be a point of difference to differentiate between people. If I tape it to my chest, we get a bit of rub, but if I tape it to the t-shirt, we don't. So I was doing a shoot for Newtonic in Vegas, and when they clipped it on and went under my shirt, I was like, I could be doing this. And this is, again, is Alima, right, does so fucking well because he does his skits with too much attention to detail. That motherfucker gets a skit and waits 5 months until he's in New York to do the reaction. He goes to New York to do a skit. The guy has filmed maybe 8, 9 skits in Ibiza already because he knows if he was to record the reaction in the wrong place, it wouldn't do as well. When you watch Alima, he literally is obsessed of getting every single angle of it right. And that's why he's just surpassed 10 million followers, because whatever level you think you need to be at, you should try and go above it. And I think that even technically I'm a PT. I shouldn't know about all the camera settings. I shouldn't know about how to edit in DaVinci and Premiere. But for me, I think it's that attention to detail of the really small stuff that helps me do well. Because I know everyone else is just sleeping on it. I go see a competitor, I'm like, go see a microphone, dickhead. You know, so yeah, it's fun to me, I suppose. I've got mental problems, you know, for this stuff, yes. Kayla at Cena's, it makes it look like she's filming in a front room. I've been there, it's a fucking studio the size of this room to make it look like a front room. I think it's always good to go to that level for your followers because I think people like to see the effort that you go to. You know, even when people, let's say you're doing a video about your day and you go to the gym, they go out their house, they put a camera on a fucking tripod, they go back in their house, they close the fucking door, they open the door, they walk to their car, they go back, they close the fucking door, then they go to the tripod, they take the phone off the tripod, they take the tripod back in, fucking hell, and they go back just for 2 seconds of footage. But it looks nice. I remember I was watching Peaky Blinders and there's a scene in it where 4 of them are walking down the street and there's pyro and shit going off in the background. I'm like, 4 actors, Cillian Murphy, pyro, health and safety, street. There are 2 cars that are 100 years fucking old there that have got to be hired. They've got to be there, not to mention the insurance policy. They would need to have a car of that age next to that pyro. It's a 2-second fucking scene. Probably costs £115,000. There's gonna come a time where maybe you can't differentiate with someone else. Maybe they are the same level of content creator than you, and maybe it is the subtle differences. 2017, my business partner, me and James Shaw, we had complex accounting. Neither of us were Australian residents. JSA was absolutely pumping. Our accountants were like, stop making money because you haven't got your business set up. We go into the city and we meet with PwC and Deloitte, two of the biggest top 4 accountancy firms. We go to Deloitte, sit with them, everything's great, and our sign-on with them is about £30,000 just to start the accounting. Then we go to Deloitte, went to Deloitte, then went to PwC, and I came out and I go, who are we going with? He goes, we got a biscuit with our coffee at PwC, so we're going with them. That was it. That was the difference. I fucking cracked up. He was like, they were both the same. They were both charging the same amount. They're both big 4 accountants. We got a biscuit with our coffee here, we'll go with them. So like, that's the way I see it, right? The little bit of effort. The fact that my accountant, even now, when I message him something that could be a little bit below the book, he goes, let me call you after work. He calls me out of hours because he goes, we can't have this on email, right? And I think, do you know what? I'm gonna stay with this guy for years because he's going above and beyond the level of service he needs to or he should do. And that's what I vibe with. So, you know, yeah. It doesn't really answer your question, but at the same time it does. You should be aspiring to make the nicest production possible. Because if you started watching something on Netflix or you were to buy something like a TV series and there were just some shortcuts taken in it, you'd be like, come on, I'm investing in you, I want this back. And every single social media video that you make is an asset for your business and brand that you're putting out there. I just don't understand why you wouldn't maybe get the backdrop. Yeah. All I want you to do is obsessing with getting a little bit better. Yeah. Right? I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I was very happy at purple. I was very happy at blue. I was very happy at white. Although I was dog shit, the reason I was happy was because I was getting better. I never think to myself, oh, you fucking idiot at blue belt trying to do an omoplata from here. I don't care. Because every single time, the reason that I'm content with where I'm at is because I'm improving. And all I'm saying is, start with the jump cut, start with the iPhone, start with the tripod, get the camera because now things are gonna get a little bit better. Then you're gonna film at home in your front room through your means or whatever it is. Maybe we do get the backdrop, maybe we do get the light. We're just continually taking small steps forward. I've made more progress in my own probably personal brand in the last 12 months than the 9 years before it. I feel like when I look back at my last IFS talk, I'm like, this guy's a fucking idiot. It was a year ago. I honestly, I'm embarrassed by the quality of stuff I put out, only because I want to make sure I'm keep improving and getting better. So that's all I'm asking. Never use the word perfect. Imagine this, I've been doing podcasts for like fucking 6 years. I sent him a podcast the other day. I need a speech coach. I keep using the word like. I don't know where it's come from. 10 years into my career, I've started going backwards. I keep using the word like, and to the point I can't listen to the podcast. So 10 years into this, I'm still finding issues and problems that I'm facing. And all I'm gonna do is just try to say like less. There's no way I'm gonna get it out in the next podcast that I go on. So yeah, never look for perfect, only look for better.
When you say, it's always you say you should progress in things like editing, making cooler videos, where would you think that balance would be? Like, okay, maybe I should just hire somebody who's better at editing.
How much better have you got at making videos in the last 2 months? A lot better. Yeah. You were doing static pictures before. There were no reels. I'm watching your content get better. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about hiring someone because in 6 months you'll be a fucking weapon. Look at Lucy Lord. Don't know if you follow Lucy Lord. Her content looks professional. It's her. She worked in pharmaceuticals. She used to sell drugs to vets, but she just consistently got better to the point that people now think someone else is doing it. Yes, there comes to a point that maybe you hire someone, like I have Declan now, but even I did the first 8 years without it. And then, so I still always think that you should become the expert. And then you can always have help when you want, but I don't like offsetting too much of the creative stuff to you because then that muscle becomes atrophied. And you never want that. You never want to walk into a room and not know the angles that you want. So there comes a point, but I would say try and maximize to become the best version of that content creator that you can. And the more that you start seeing things that work, you then start to see it in other people's content, and then you start to emulate it yourself. Emulate is just the word we use to copy other people, right? Which is what we're all doing. Even my business mentorship is very similar to the one that I fucking studied in 6 years ago. And his is probably similar to the one that he did 4 years before that. We're all just putting our own spin on stuff anyway, but the more creative you can be with it, the better. And I think that it's going to be the most creative person that kind of, flips content that's going to do better from it. You're not the first dietitian to make nice food. You know what I mean? Okay, we're still almost working in 2024. We spoke before it about good landing pages, okay? I butt heads with a lot of people about landing pages and sales calls, but hey, that guy spent 6 grand on dinner last night. He didn't need to call the restaurant to be sold to. He just wanted to go, know what was on the menu, and let's fucking do it. Same, when you walk past a restaurant, when you're walking past, let's say we're in Ibiza, whatever, cool. First thing you do, menu. is this the cuisine for me? This is what people are doing when they're watching you on social media. Imagine you see a menu with no prices, you're like, fucking cocksuckers, right? No chance. You might want to look to whether or not the restaurant's busy, which is another reason I don't like sales calls, because if your diary is open every hour for a sales call, you've got an empty restaurant. They're getting food poisoning. Get the fuck out of there. As the owner of the restaurant, you should not try and sell people into it. You should come over. Hey, my friend, I have a great place for you. Cool. Here's a menu. Let me know if you need anything. That's it. If the guy comes over with the menu and goes, hey, my friend, good restaurant, come on, come on, come on, come here, come here, come here, come here. You're like, fuck off, mate. We're going somewhere else. I don't like this. And I feel that the landing page just needs to be the same. What it is you're offering, what they get, why they need it, how much it costs. That's what we're doing when we're looking at menus. People just want to know. And again, some people are going to go there and they're going to bounce. But again, if you've got a fucking butcher's, you shouldn't give a shit about vegetarians or vegans. Someone's like, oh, you're killing animals, fuck off, you're never going to buy my sausages. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a problem. A well-designed landing page is a place that people can go to and handle their own objections. I still will concede and say to people, if you want to leave your contact information there, don't have it so like you can never have my number, because this average customer for you might actually be worth thousands of pounds over the course of however long they stay. But ultimately, I think we should all be looking for a world where you send traffic to a page and customers pop out. If they're unsure, there is nothing that can be done in a sales call that can't be done in an email. And people that even for my course, they message me, they're like, oh, James, you know, I've used a lot of business mentorships in the past, and basically I did the thing with Tony McCleary, and then I got in a legal battle, and I don't even read the email. I go, have a fucking 1 month money back guarantee, bye. That's it. I've now handled every objection that they have. They can either join or they might not, whatever. The landing page should do the same. The best thing that I've actually started getting people to do now more is to have what's known as a VSL, a video sales letter, a video front and center of your fucking sales page. Because let me tell you this, so many of the girls I've been on dates with on Hinge back in the day are fucking minging. And they're minging because photos do not paint a picture and you cannot tell enough about it. There was the Rory Sutherland guy who made a great point on Chris's podcast where he goes, Jennifer Aniston and Cameron Diaz are not fit enough to be supermodels. The real attraction is in when you see them move. When you see Jennifer Aniston interact with someone on Friends, you're like, oh my God, she's so fit. Same with Cameron Diaz. When she smiles and flicks her hair, you're like, oh my God. There are some people that are only beautiful when you see them in motion. Now, when you guys post pictures on your landing page of the photo shoot that you did in the studio with the Rembrandt lighting and the oiled up fucking jizzle, it's not a representation of who you are. And so much of the time, I would not go on a date with a girl unless I could see them move. If I could see them talk and interact with their friends, it would paint a picture. So there is so much, even if you're shit on camera, it can actually be such, almost like a pleasant thing. They see someone nervous out there trying to do their business, they're like, fuck, I can relate to this person. Because sometimes if you are too confident on camera, they don't resonate with it. Oh, this guy's a pro. I don't want a pro. I just want a personal trainer to help me do my fucking workouts, whatever. You should have at the front and center of that, you, and do not get caught up in making your landing page about you. Because no offense, no one gives a fuck about you in the nicest way possible. Hi, my name's John, I swam for county, no one cares. Hi, I've been a physique bodybuilder, no one cares. Hi, I've been no one cares. They care about themselves. Everyone just cares about themselves. And the better you can understand that, the better. So when you start your VSL video on your sales page, just start talking about them. I created this program for people that want to lose weight. I do that by producing this service that they get, and it costs this amount. Now, I know you're probably going to say that's quite a lot, but it's worth noting that I will check in with you every single day over WhatsApp. The reason I use WhatsApp is, well, it's where you check in with your friends and family. There's no point me creating a very complex app that's going to make your life more difficult, because my job is to help you get better without making life more difficult. The prices are down below, but it's worth noting that before you think it's really expensive, I do have a money back guarantee, which by all means you can take the complete piss with, but the way it works out is the majority of people that sign up to my program stay with me, so I don't mind offering you that. If you have any questions, I have left my phone number and my email address down there. Feel free to waste my time, whatever it is. I hope you enjoy the program, and I'll see you soon. Oh, and if you do want a sales call, I don't do them. I'm a very busy professional, but I tell you what I can do is, when you buy, we're doing onboarding calls, the first part of it anyway, so I look forward to seeing you on the call. Cheers, boom. Sell it to them. Don't get distracted about anything else. Don't tell them about your credentials. Don't tell them about anything. Just sell them the fucking course. Because ultimately, that's what people want. When people arrive on my landing page for my business mentorship, they don't care about how much money I've made. They don't care about how many followers I have. They don't care about how many books I've sold. They want to know what information I have that they can put into their businesses. Even the reason you're at this talk, it's not really because you like me. It should be because you like your fucking businesses and you like your lives and you want to leverage my fucking knowledge to help yourselves, and that's fine. Because I will also leverage your positions to sell some of you into my mentorship. We're all just trying to fucking help ourselves. And the better you can understand that, the better you can actually help people. Because if you foolishly think that people care more about you than they actually do, you will make it harder for yourself to sell to those people. It sounds like a really fucking selfish thing to say, right? But you know people that spend all their time giving money to charity? Selfish. They're only doing it to make themselves feel better. It is. It is. The only reason, oh, you see a homeless person, you're like, oh, have £10. Why? Because I'm a generous guy? No, because it make me feel good. Fucking hell, I feel great. I might do that more often. You know what I mean? Make the sales page about them, not about you, about them. And it's your job to disarm them, dismantle any hesitations they have. And you might feel like a sleazy fucking sales douchebag, but if there's a money back guarantee and you actually honor it, you can't do much else for them. Landing page, make several versions of it, A, B, C, split test it, one with more text, one with less, one with different videos, whatever it is. Even Jaden, I got you on your landing page to just face the facts that you are a baby-based motherfucker. Let's just get into it. I know I'm really young, but the good news is I don't charge the world because I still live at home with my mum. Perfect. You know what I mean? Disarm them before they're there. Because they're going to think, why am I paying this guy fucking £55 a week? You don't even pay rent. You don't pay rent. You do pay rent, but still, you know what I mean? So I think this is the most beautiful way to do it. Rather than Jane going, I've been a fitness coach and a fitness enthusiast now for 3.5 years. Just be honest with people, just be real. And I think that's one thing that's really lacking in the industry. Everyone's trying to make it too much about themselves and what physique competitions they've won in. And, oh, you know, I've been an IFBB pro for 4. No one cares. No one cares. Landing pages, hit me up with questions. Jaden. Getting traffic. It's difficult. What are your story views at the moment? Because what's your following, 10,000? So the only issue that we might face with this is, if you're not getting that many views to your landing page, especially not nibbles, there could be that some of that 10,000 are a subprime audience, that you've got those followers through doing challenges and they follow Jaden the challenge guy, they follow Jaden the pizza guy, they follow the guy that works for Domino's, they didn't follow the person who's a personal trainer. So it might be, rather than looking at it and going, oh, I've got 10,000 followers and none of them doing business with me, it could be looking at the fact, and I've just done this with my big YouTube, right, where I'm like, I have all these fucking subscribers and I'm like, oh, they're the wrong people. They're the wrong fucking people, and it's my fault for making the wrong content. So now I'm working on a new channel where I just want the right people. So it could be just doubling down on putting out content of people that would go to your landing page, because you might have just cultivated an audience of people that maybe just aren't right, or they can't afford it, or they have too many personal trainers all trying to do the same thing at the same time. I mean, how many views would you get per campaign to the landing page? Do you look at the clicks from that? Say like, okay, I'm gonna do this story, look how many views I get. I'm gonna run this email campaign, how many clicks? What would you say is in the sales funnel, where's the barrier? Okay, what's the email list at? Rookie numbers. There could be something that we could do to really fucking bolster those numbers up, because you don't have the leverage now to force traffic to that site enough. And going from socials to landing page is going from dance floor to fingering. Get them a drink first. You know what I mean? So I think that we do need to go through the stages, because this is the reality, right? When I'm messaging a girl on Hinge and we've matched, which I don't do because I'm in a relationship, let's be real. You both want to fuck, or you wouldn't have matched. You just wouldn't. But there are stages necessary to go through before fucking to make sure that both people are happy that they're fucking the right person. Same in business, right? If someone's following your page, I'm not saying everyone that you're following wants to fuck you, but there's some kind of synergy there. But when someone gets to your email list, you're close. You're walking out the club with that person. You just got to make sure you don't fuck it up at this point. And sometimes it is too much of a leap to go from socials to landing page. It is a little bit too much. It's one drink, come on, let's go. They're like, whoa, 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 I've just met you. So I would say focus on that, because they might need so many different points of contact from you before they're ready to buy, or they're ready to go to the landing page, or they're ready to watch a video. Well, actually, I'm saying it could be a subprime audience, but now I know the size of your email list, I would say it's not the audience, it's the size of the email list. 120 people out of those, like I say, a few of them are just marking them as unread. And you might even be going, oh, fucking 50 people read this. Maybe it didn't, maybe it's only 12. So I think that if you were to tenfold, or at least, tenfold your email list, that would only take you to 1,000. That's only 10% of your overall following. Facebook, how many followers? You're now at 11K. TikTok, 15,000, 100. The discrepancy's there. If we were to map this out as an image, you would say the chokehold is at the email list. It's difficult because you still can be in your infancy not knowing where you're going to get your best return on investment, because if you knew, you wouldn't have asked the question. Because if you knew it was your landing page, you'd do your landing page. If you knew it was your emails, do your emails. And if you knew it was your socials, you'd do your socials. And the question, my response is, I don't know. But you can never give up on the content side of things, because all it takes is 1 week without posting and you fucking get in a hole. And then you're like, you just get paralysis. I've been there so many times. And do you know what? I can do massive lines of coke and I'm fine. No, come down. I don't post for 3 days, I can't come up with ideas, I'm terrible to be around, right? My values for what makes me happy, productivity and creativity is one of them. When I can't think up of content ideas, I'm miserable. My missus, like, she has to give me a wide berth. I'm like, I've got no ideas for content. She's like, you think of something? I'm like, don't gaslight me, all right? Don't gaslight me. It's one of those things, but you always need to make sure you're flexing the creativity muscle, because the subpar email list and the subpar landing page sounds like it's working, but do not stop on the content side of things, because that's the hardest part. It's niche though as well, right? ADHD coaching. It's because you're borderline in this territory where people go, that's not even a thing, right? Do you know what I saw yesterday? Fat loss advice for lesbians. I was like, mate, 100%. Like, I'd say I've seen a definite improvement over the last few months. Like, maybe it will just come together. Maybe the emails will just improve. Maybe the standards will just improve. Maybe, like, I'm not sure, to answer your question, where you should put the effort. But maybe spend a bit of time improving emails, see what happens to the bottom line. Spend a bit of time on content, see what happens to the bottom line. But, like, it sounds bad, right? If it's working, let's say we have engagement, 7% of them sign up to the email list, of that 1% click the landing page, at that 0.3% end up buying. Even if your conversion rates are pretty shit, if we just pump loads of volume in the top of the funnel through going viral a bit, it will still trickle through. The same way that when I knocked on doors, my close rate was 1%, which sounds bad, but my manager would say to me, knock on fucking 100 more doors. And I'd be like, and he'd be like, 100 more doors, fuck off. Like, it's the same. Even if the conversions could be better, if they're still at that rate, you could just put more content out and just get people to trickle through it. Even if you need 1,600 people to read an email to make a sale, double the amount of traffic, double the amount of clients. Okay, first thing before that, I just love lead pages. I'm not paid by lead pages. I just love them. And I see people doing it on Wix, shit house. I see them try and do it on MailChimp, shit house. I can spot it a mile off. Second thing, ladies who know about this, dudes in here have no idea about color palettes, right? Women, they come in, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because I'm a boy, right? I buy bed sheets. They're like, this does not go with the room. I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't go with the room? I had one housemate who I thought was gay because he came in blackout drunk once and we decorated the front room. He could barely talk and he went, the pillows don't go with the room. I was like, I've never heard a man say that before, right? But then even you can go onto Adobe, there's a color wheel where you can pick a color and it'll give you other palette colors that go with it. Men have no idea, right? So I'm seeing red and black. I'm like, these are the colors of sex and violence. I'm like, get rid of that. I had another lad this week using pink. I was like, do you just work with women? He's like, no, I work mostly men. I'm like, why'd you pick pink? So picking something like landing pages, lead pages, not only gives you good analytics, it has good base palettes for colors to keep it simple. Then I've got people that are putting images behind text. Images behind text. I'm like, why would you try and make text harder to read? Or they're using Times New Roman, tiny font, or there's just too much, or there's not line breaks, or whatever it is. So from a design perspective, it needs to look nice. And that's why I do like the templates that you get through some of the pre-made websites. For me, the pre-made templates work well. Even if they've seen that template before, it doesn't matter because it's all about the experience of someone landing on it. Definitely video at top. People sometimes think their brand is more important. It's like JB Fitness and a dumbbell. I'm like, get that the fuck off. It's just another thing in the way. Just get that header video there. Doesn't need a thumbnail. Also, sales videos don't need to be over edited. They don't need to have transitions and swish, 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 raw, chilled, talking to someone. Where on socials, you do need to have a level of like editing or whatever. I think sales letters, VSLs, just need to be chilled. Just you talking to the person and just letting them know, hey, this is what I do, this is why I think it could help, this is why I think you'd be right, here's a money back guarantee, would love to see you in the program, cheers. Even when you see people who sometimes are like overly in character online, even myself sometimes, when I get to a sales video on a landing page, I'm chilled. Like, you know, Greg Doucette, hey guys, but then in real life, he's just chilled. It's like, yeah, Greg, whatever. Don't make him too long. Again, better someone wanting more information that contacts you. Hey, I just want to know how long I actually need to work with you to get here. Cool, reach out to me. Don't try and over deliver every single thing that person would need because they're probably just going to start scrolling and just bounce. What else? I'd say they're the main components. The video is so important, so important. I didn't realize until I started putting them in some of the ones, especially when you can verbalize a money back guarantee as well. Not cringe, but like, look, not everyone I work with loves it. They don't. And for that reason, if you don't love it, I'll give you money back. And people go, fucking hell, this person's real. Like, this person's giving me an out. This person's actually honest with me. You can even make up a statistic. I'll be honest, 9% of people choose to get a refund. Why is that? Well, maybe it's work ethic, maybe it's finances, whatever it is. But if you're part of the 91%, see you inside. I would have an onboarding call. So like, let's say people should have questions when they join your program. But like, I don't like the idea of being on a call with someone who might not do business with me, when it's much more likely that I get them to join and then I over deliver. And then also, I don't want to turn up to, let's say you do the onboarding call. I don't want to turn up to a call thinking I have to sell them. I want to turn them up to school going, welcome, excited, tell me about yourself. Send me a video of your home gym setup. Tell me what you want to do. Why is that? Challenge them, have a bit more fun. And even just that interaction so much better. I even found that when I onboarded clients, I'd say, send me a video of yourself. And they'd get petrified. And I would be like, I could actually tell what program I'd write them from the video they sent. So someone would be like, hi, my name's Lucy. I fucking hate doing these videos. So I already know in her program, she's going nowhere near a squat rack. I'm going to be getting her to goblet squat with a kettlebell because I know the dumbbell that she wants is probably a 12 or 14 kg, and I know the meatheads are going to want that one. So like, you get to learn the person that you're speaking to. I just never got on board with the idea of having to try and close someone when I could just send them to a place that could do it for me. Whatever they ask as a question, just send them a money back guarantee. Oh, James, you know, I've been a mentorship, because it's not actually the question they have about the program, it's a question about trust. That's what they're trying to fish out. Am I wasting my time and money? That's really the only thing people care about. That's it. And if you can just remove all the hesitations that they have, great. Like even if someone, say I'm walking somewhere and someone's like, oh, James, I'm thinking about joining your mentorship. They're actually kind of asking me to sell them into it. They're kind of asking me to take away all the insecurities they have. I'll just tap them on the back and be like, or if they've been stung before, I'll say to them, 6-month money back guarantee. Here it is in writing. And they're like, 6 months? I'm like, yeah, you can fucking rip everything off from the course. And like I say, I'm transferring the risk from them to me. And then they go, oh, that's nice. No one else is doing that. And a lot of the other mentorships do bang the sales calls because it is easier for me to say, ring that cunt, than it is to talk about color palettes, video sales letters, stories, links, analytics, conversions, traffics. Just telling people to jump on a call with someone means you don't have to get better at all that stuff, but it's not scalable. And again, there are people here that might only have a few thousand followers and I'm talking to them about how to make elite content and hide their microphones. It's overkill, but I want to plan and set you up for where you are in 3 years' time, not now. Because if I get you and I just get you guys all good at fucking bashing people on the phone, what happens when you run a challenge with 300 people and 48 of them want to jump on a call and then, you know, you've got so many things going on in your life? I just don't think it's congruent with success long term. And I know Sean loves his sales calls. I say, how many are you doing, brother? You know, like, I don't see the sales call button on glean.com. You know what I'm saying? And I'll bid on the website. I see you hiding your prices, brother. Get them on the email list first. I see your sales funnel, brother. You know what I mean? Do you know what? It does the same thing, but I've just never used ClickFunnels. Like, it's pretty much the same thing. And they appreciate that dudes don't know color palettes. They appreciate that men have no design. Like for dudes, yeah, we have TV, biggest we can fit in the room, sofa right in front of it, wet wipes in the toilet, that's it, right? That's all we care about. Women are like, nah, we need a throw on the sofa. You're like, what does this even do? You know, so websites like that are great because it just takes away all the shit we're not good at and allows us to put things in it. But yeah, a good landing page makes all your problems go away. Then any inbound stuff you get, even if you just set up a chatbot that responded to every single DM, hey, sorry, this is an automated message. I'm incredibly busy at the moment. I'm probably with my child, coaching someone or working with my clients. I would love to get back to you one-to-one, but in the meantime, if you are considering working with me, here's a website you can click on that will answer every question you have. Maybe see you inside, maybe not. One thing, this is a little trick I haven't told too many people about. All my webinars I've done, I'm reading a teleprompter. So it's a live stream, but no one knows I'm reading a teleprompter. I spend about 6 hours writing the entire webinar, so that when people see me live, they go, fucking hell, this guy knows this subject well. And I can then do a fucking long paragraph without breaking stride. And then it also means that my call to actions from the webinar are regimented throughout it. So you could write like a long piece, whatever it is, because actually what I'm doing is I'm creating a long format video that is just being presented as a live stream webinar that we're getting people into, but I know then it's gonna be evergreen afterwards. So let's say you'd hammer organic. Hey guys, just so you know, this is a free webinar, it could change your life. Drop a jean size webinar, drop a dress size webinar, whatever it is. You could then spend a bit of time rehearsing, pre-recording, whatever it is. You can get apps on iPads that then sit beneath the camera with a little mirror. There's a company called Nua that do these like little iPad holders. So then you have a little clicker that clicks on it. Ed from Film Booth, Creator Booth, all scripted. Have you noticed he has a clicker in his hand? Russell Brand. Russell Brand, the guy from, what's the film? You sound like you're from London. What's it called? Yeah, Forget Sarah Marshall. Is it Russell Brand? That's the white guy there. Teleprompter. Have you ever noticed that he's got really amazing speech where he's like, this far libertarian, neoliberal person from the right, and you're like, fuck, this guy says, he's reading a teleprompter. Tucker Carlson, reading a teleprompter. Every motherfucker, Iman Gadzi, reading a teleprompter. I don't even think that he made the script he's reading. He's just a puppet. You see it on the news, right? When you're on the news, they're like, 73-year-old from South Brisbane found brutally they're reading. Everyone online in media is just reading. Because guess what? To get people to say exactly what they need to say is fucking difficult. Even professionals can't do it. So when it comes to doing a webinar, you can freeball here and there, but if you had a structured, written plan that you read intermittently between it, here's another thing we do. Fuck it, you guys are here. When people are asking questions, he's in the back end knowing which questions I answer best, and then he texts them to me to read out on the webinar. The whole thing is curated to look really raw, but to really have the most impact. So again, if you were gonna do like a live stream, again, this is where it comes down to like over-delivering, overworking on it. People being like, oh, the guy's just on here spitting questions and answering. No, premeditated, $5,000 in paid ads. You know, like everything geared up towards this one video because it could be worth so much to your business in time. And then here's another thing as well. So with all, let's say you do run paid ads and you're like, I'm gonna put £500 in signing up for this webinar. All the people that don't turn up still get emailed an offer. So that's it, the data is king. All of the people watching IFS live streaming, you don't think they're getting an offer to the mentorship. Shut up. All of you in here, if you're like, oh, James, don't worry, you'll be getting an email. Don't worry, I've got all your email addresses. None of you are getting out of here. Even the people in the mentorship, I'll sell you again. Yeah, so one thing we were talking about was really good about journaling is a really powerful thing that people get a lot out of. It's one of those things that people know if they did it, they probably feel better. Yeah, I think having that physical product, I think just selling it and just saying, look, at the end, I'll just attack them a little bit and go, you don't spend any time considering or thinking about the way you feel. If you buy this fucking physical item that my mum's gonna post to you, she's still doing them, you're gonna fucking feel better. And if you don't, let me know, I'll refund you, whatever it is. I think just having something punchy like that. Even one of my mates who is like football fan, drunk hooligan, same guy who said about the pillows, he got a few beers in him, he said to me, he was like, started a gratitude journal. It's like, excuse me? He goes, I wake up, I've got to write down 3 things I'm grateful for. He goes, I feel amazing. He goes, I'm thinking about the things I'm grateful about. He would be the first person out of all my friends to go, huh, go. He loves it. Loves it, mate. So like, yeah, just when you get to the end of automation, you should be like, I've done this to make you think, to make you do whatever. Now you should say even something like, I've done everything I can, I now need you to make yourself feel better. And the way you can do that is to buy this. Yeah, I think it's cool. I still want to see the bit of content with your mum in it. If you live in Dubai, yeah? Your mum's actually physically helped post in the journals.
Yeah, yes. For the summer, I'm back in Ireland. I'm going back to Dubai in October.
I think that's great. I think that's great content. Be like, oh, here's my mum. She kind of works for me. So if you buy this journal, she'll post it. But don't worry, I'll look after her. You know, if we sell enough of them, I'll take her somewhere nice. Oh, mum, back to work. You know, like, and I think that humanizes you as well. I think the humanizing thing. So imagine this. When I surprised my mum coming back from Australia with my kid, the one thing that blew up my DMs is that my mum still has all my posters on the fridge. So it was the fact that, you know, we can have the jet, we can have all this stuff, but the thing that humanizes it is this guy's parents still have the first things he ever did stuck on the fridge, newspaper cutouts. And I think the humanizing side of it is really good because you do want to be the professional, you do want to be the person that does the hooks, the landing pages, hides the mic under the shirt, but at the same time, they're like, oh, this is just someone's son. This is just a family person. And I think that's a really important part of it as well. Even with the kid, I think our last challenge for coaching did so well, I think it's I had a kid. They were like, oh, the poor guy's fucked. I might finally join his program. He's one of us now, just fucking aging, getting grey in his beard and shit. So yeah, the humanization of it's really good. Yes, but no one's getting missed out, don't worry. How are we looking on time, by the way, Luke? Fucking hell, pumping, cooking on gas, yes. The better you can take things away from it and help them understand would be the better. So like, again, I joke about fingering, right? Because then people go, oh, what the fuck, where did that come from? But sometimes, like I've always said, no man knows what it feels like to get fingered, right? So you just got to kind of try things out and watch for a response. And that's the exact same thing we do with social media. So again, no one in their right mind would talk about fingering to get better at content, but then you can. I'm not saying it should be a good reel, maybe more for a talk that's private. More so, if you can find something completely out of context that relates back to it, a bit, let's look at spreading calories out across the week. You say to someone, no human being spends the same amount of money every day. So why should I expect you to eat the same amount of calories every day? Truth is, at the weekend we spend way more, and during the week we rein it back. That is an approach you can have with your calories. If you want to be Billy Big Balls and go out and even go to Waitrose, you can do it at the weekend. But during the week, you've got to make up for it or you go bankrupt. I think having a way and a means that you can take someone away from the world of fat loss and then bring them back. Analogies, metaphors. ChatGPT is really good for this as well. So you can go in and be like, hey, I'm making a reel about fat loss. The props are available as Skittles, 2 pint glasses, and 3 balloons. What can I do? Obviously, it's not the best response, but you go, give me 5 analogies, give me 5 metaphors, give me 5 similes. Do you know what? I couldn't actually give you the definition dictionary of them. I get them all muddled up. So sometimes I'm like, great analogy. They're like, it's a metaphor. Fuck off. So, so even ChatGPT, whatever you can to make it easier, just try and remove it out of context, whatever you can. If you ask for 10 examples, ChatGPT will give you 9 shit ones, but you get one and go, oh, that's quite a good one. Yes. So let's say you create an amazing 11-page PDF. Imagine if you were to send 1 page every day via email with a bit of context around it and a bit of fun. You know what I mean? If you're going to go to the effort of making a massive asset that's 11 pages long, could we break it up and give it some bite-sized chunks? Because telling me how to make a spirulina fucking salad and how to cook a steak perfectly in the same thing, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's too much. But if you had an email which was like, hey, here are 3 fundamental things you need to know about salad. Oils. What was the thing I asked you on the call?
Yeah, you were like, oh, which one of them?
We spoke about something and I was like, margarine.
Oh yeah, it was in the Discord.
I thought margarine was bad.
Yeah. It's not.
Make it a fucking email. You know what I mean? Like, so I think you just get pumping to the point that you're starting to get loads of traction with those reels. Your averages are still in the thousands, right? For the new ones you've been putting out.
Yeah.
I see everything. So then with that, just get to the point that maybe towards the end of it, maybe try a carousel, maybe try a reel, maybe do something, be like, hey, if you thought margarine was bad for you and that olive oil shouldn't go on a salad, then you're probably making loads of mistakes. So if you give me your email address, I'll debunk those myths. There was a study recently about like olive oil and I think it was even fat loss or something. I can't even remember what it was. But it really changed the way that I was thinking about olive oil. For me, it just seems like you're just dousing calories on shit and making it worse. But if someone can get to that soon and explain to audiences maybe those misconceptions that we have, because I guarantee, right, I stand here as maybe a bit of a self-proclaimed nutrition expert, but I know there are things you know that I don't know, and the only way you're gonna allow me to know the things that I don't know that you know is to put it into content. Because if you were to try and say to me outside, but talk to me about margarine, I'd be like, I don't care. But if you put it in a reel, I'd be like, that's interesting. Because that's where I go to learn new things. Make sense? Where was the next hand that was up? How many clients would you need at what price point to be better off financially?
Doing what I'm doing now, I need 100 clients.
But then there would be some nuances to that because in corporate, you're on PAYE so that your tax is taken to go straight to the HMRC or whatever it is. Whereas if you were self-employed, you could be able to potentially negate some of your tax bills. So for instance, but if you've got this weekend, are you expensing that against your side hustle? A legitimate registered business. So you can still be quite tax efficient doing both. Do you want to be in a world where you don't do corporate anymore?
I'm 40 next year, and that is my ultimate goal.
What dependents do you have?
4-year-old.
It's tough because I can't tell you here to quit your job or whatever, but at some point you probably will have to. How much do you enjoy your job?
I don't. I mean, I'm working really long hours.
If you were to leave your job, how hard would it be for you to get re-employed? So then why not just fuck it off for a bit, see what happens? You know, if you double down into it, of course, I get that. But otherwise, we could be here in 5 years' time and you go, I'm still in corporate. I go, well, imagine this. In my mind, there's only one way out. You know that way out as well. You're just looking for someone else to confirm it. But ultimately, without you doing it, maybe next year you go, do you know what, James? I quit corporate, didn't work out, went back into corporate. Even the job you go back into might be higher paid, you might enjoy it more, and you might do less hours. Doing the same thing right now, I just don't see that as congruent with your goals. And also imagine this. If you look at sometimes people's careers or you look at people's lives or whatever, whenever there is a bout or a period of really fucking impressive shit, it's usually after something shit. People have a breakup, they get an amazing fucking revenge body, right? People's business goes under, the next business, they float onto the fucking stock market. Right now, your capacity for being really impressive is hindered by your job. You might surprise yourself as to how quick you get those 100 clients when you need to, but right now you don't need to. And that's the biggest problem. Like when I started PTing on the gym floor, or actually even better yet, before my career skyrocketed, I was stuck in a dilemma that if I didn't make more money, I had to move back home to my parents in the UK. And having that like hot, spicy poker up my asshole every single morning, I got out of bed like, if I don't make today my bitch, I'm moving home to Winkfield. There's not a lot going on in Winkfield. I like my mum and dad, but when I get back from Australia, I'm like, so good to see my family. By 9 p.m, I'm arguing about politics. By 2 days later, I'm bored. I was not going back to Winkfield. And if you leave the corporate world, the only person that determines whether or not you go back is you. So I do think you should do it.
So I've thought about going to PT on the gym floor.
Oh yeah, when you quit corporate, you need to be somewhere that you can fucking just pepper people all day. Because doing it online means that you might not have, and you can slow the bleeding being a face-to-face PT as well. Especially if your demographic could be very similar to yourself. Because you say you're 40, female, training with females. If I was a 42-year-old female that wanted to get in shape, I'd much rather you came up to me than some of the younger pretty ladies, no offense. You know what I mean? Because the 22-year-olds come up with the Gymshark leggings and they go, you don't know what I'm going through. But the pretty ladies of you that are 22 in Gymshark leggings, the chicks that are doing the barbell hip thrust incorrectly that are 19, they're probably going to hire you because you look like the people. Not the old ugly ones, but ladies, 40s, going into 50s, perimenopause, menopause, all of that stuff, amazing. And sometimes financially in a much more safer place to invest in things like coaching. You know what you need to do. It's scary, of course, but even if you monumentally fuck up, you get re-employed, just try and get some coverage so that you maybe have 1 or 2 months worth of money to be able to cover bills, but you're never going to be able to see what the impressive thing is that you want to do unless you do it. Otherwise, all right, here you go. No problem gets better over time. Toothache. If you don't address that motherfucker, you're going to have a really bad few weeks and months. When people are unfit over time decays everything. However you feel about your situation now, it's only going to get worse unless you change it. Pull the tooth out. It'll be unpleasant, but in a few months' time, you go, fucking hell, that was amazing. A bit like a toxic relationship. They never just get better. You're never like, oh, my husband used to beat me and now things are all right. You know, it never happens. So you know what you need to do. It's going to be scary. Do you have a partner? What did he say about it?
That's also the awkward thing because I'm carrying him.
Oh dear, oh dear. You could hire him and make him your bitch when you get busy though. What does he do? Bike fitter. Interesting. Get rid of him as well. No, I'm joking. The only issue I have, I'll come to you in just a second, is that imagine I'm getting married in Ibiza next year. I've not dropped a knee yet. I only drop knees for single legs. But let's say I get married and someone's like, oh, there's this amazing photographer. I go, sweet. And I go to hire him and he's like, yeah, I'm actually a tax accountant, but I do wedding photography in my spare time. I'm like, you're coming nowhere near my wedding, brother, because you're a fucking part-timer. You know, like, oh, there's this yoga instructor, and she's like, oh yeah, I actually work in Lululemon, but I teach yoga on the side. I'm like, we can't be that good at fucking yoga, you know? So the hindrance to your business as well is that you're an accountant that does PT, and it's always gonna be that way until you're not. You wouldn't even be able to look someone in the eyes and say, I'm a personal trainer, because you know deep down that you're only kind of a personal trainer. Yeah. Oh, you're fucked now. You're quitting. Call him up now. Get him on the phone. Get him on the phone. Yes, the question. That's right. You dress very smartly.
Thank you very much.
I like that.
I'll get the linen out.
Yeah, I see you. I would always have a Facebook group for paid clients because what a lot of people come to you for is a training program. The reason they stay is they get community. So some people want a workout, but they're really hungry for community. They come into your Facebook group, they get the workout, they find a community. You go, hey, pay my program. They're like, why? So I get a new program, already part of the community. I don't agree or think it's the most optimal way to do it because now you're running 2 groups, right? One paid and one not paid. So I join you right now. I get a training program. I get put in a group. You say, hey, pay me. How much is it? 897. I think I'll stick with the free one, thanks. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but at the same time, I just don't see the point. 2 Facebook groups, it's just confusing me. How many clients you got on 897?
Got like 30.
That's all right, that's decent. Making a bit of kashish, okay. So this is another thing that I see people making a big mistake with, right? You want commitment periods, 6-month minimum, 3-month minimum. You want it because you're worried they're just gonna leave. But if you offer a money back guarantee, they're just gonna fucking leave anyway, right? So maybe don't make that amount. Because also 897, I'm suddenly thinking, fucking hell, it's only £1,000. Whereas if you were to say £75 a week, you could even then start to collate it or make it a lot closer to some of the costs that they're thinking about with coaching anyway. You go your local PT at the gym, to see him twice a week, it's going to cost you 80 to 120 pounds. Mine's only 75. And with that, you don't just get 2 workouts, I'll write you 5. And only 3 of them are at the gym, and I'll check in with you every day. Then you can start to make your offering look a little bit closer. And again, I don't know if this is wrong or right, I love taking these big costs and making them seem smaller, and also just saying to someone like, hey, just give me your first week's payment. Because other coaches exactly like you, not exactly like you, not wearing linen or whatever, but other coaches out there are looking to do the exact same thing. And the person that says, oh yeah, just pay me, it's this much a week, you can pay me in advance if you want, but ultimately my program's fucking awesome. I don't need to get $1,000 off you up front. It's just one of those things where also this event, IFS, you would be surprised how many personal trainers, business owners, people that can literally go up to people in a room full of weights and ask them for cash do not have £1,000. How many people did the payment plan? A lot. Maybe like 80% of people that have businesses, we've never had so many fat people, right? And personal trainers do not have £1,000 to piss out of. So when you're creating a fitness program for general populations that have just regular jobs, families and dependents and everything else, sometimes some people get to that point, they go, fuck, I'd love to do that program, I just don't have £800. But if you would say, oh, it's 300 a month, or it's this, or it's this, or it's this, you could also reduce the barrier to entry. And I think that is also another kind of powerful tool that people need to look into, because you're just looking to mitigate risk. You just don't want people to waste your time. But at the same time, if I said, you might get a few more time wasters, but loads more revenue, you'd probably do it. We do this quite a bit actually when people, if you were to send out an email, how many on your email list?
I've got like 600 people.
Cool.
I'm not emailing yet though.
Okay, but you got 30 customers. So if you were to leave this room today and go, hey guys, do you know what? I'm scrapping this 897. I'm actually just going to make it a monthly payment. So the offer is, it's £300 for your first month, which is pro rata what it would be anyway. I'm going to do your program, add you to the community. I'm also going to extend the money back guarantee from 2 weeks to a month. The reason I'm doing this is I want you in the program to see how great it is. You either love it or I'll refund you your money. You could probably close 40 or 50 people tonight from that one email. I'm trialing this out. I'm not sure how it's going to go. I could regret it. So for the next 5 days, I'm going to reduce the barrier to entry. So you only need £300 to be in my program, not 900. Either way, you earn the same money. You just get more sales. You might have some time wasters, but you just look like a fucking G. Because you're like, hey, don't worry about it. Someone joins, does a couple of weeks, waste your time. Don't worry. I got 50 clients last week. It doesn't matter. So that's something I would maybe consider. Facebook group, gone. Barrier to entry, down. Just a bit more risk. You seem like a young chap. You live at home with your parents? Yeah, I've seen it from the content, right? I see your kitchen. That's not a boy's kitchen. That's a family kitchen. Yeah, it's one of those things that I'd be like, they're just some ideas. It's just a question you could ask people. It's a campaign initiative that you could run to potentially make $3,000 tonight, and we could spend it all out tonight on booze and going out. We could do anything you want. But yeah, the barrier to entry, when I hear £1,000, I'm thinking, fuck it, my mentorship, why I help people, is cheaper than your coaching. I'm rich, don't worry. But I don't Sean Casey it, oh, look at me, got to play it cool. See this drink? Don't worry about it. I'm good. I am flying back BA, but still, all right? No, it's one of those things where optics again, £897 is going to make a lot of people feel ill. Your coaching could be amazing, sure it is. But for me, that just seems like an unnecessarily high boundary to get people into your program. Because someone might need your help, they just don't have 890 quid. Neither did I after my Amex bill after Vegas. I didn't have £800. I was like, fucking hell. But yeah, so it's just something to consider. I'm not asking you to charge less. I'm asking you to give people more options. I'm asking for you to be more vulnerable on your end so that people can actually buy the thing that you're selling. So for the 3,000 email addresses you have, don't send them back up the funnel. You can, I just don't think it ever looks that great when you go get an email and someone's telling you to go to social media. You're like, mate, I've literally just come from social media. I've just been scrolling my life away. I've come here to pay off my Amex and go through my bills. Well, I'll tell you what, let me interrupt you, sorry about this. Those 3,000, I want you to sell to them so hard that list becomes 200. Buy or die. Just hammer the fuck out. Diran, right? Is he in it? Diran's Turkish email list. How many has he got? 400,000 people on the email list. I go, Diran, do you know what would be better? 200,000. Where 200,000 people have unsubscribed, but you now have 10,000 more fucking clients. He's more worried about losing email addresses than he is about making fucking money. So that 3,000, do you know what it sounds to me like? They've not been sold to enough. Because if they had, buy or die, buy or die, buy or die. And the other ones, the bigger list, the 10,000 followers to go onto the list, maybe just run some kind of frequent campaign, or maybe even a paid ad, because your paid ads are doing quite well for the growth, right? Cool. Could we not, for just a little period, spend that 50 a day on getting email addresses? Maybe too soon. They've only had one point of contact at this point, right? So maybe, is there not an initiative where we could say, hey, let's take that 50 euros a day and let's put it into a campaign to go to existing followers to get their email address. And you can even have a video going, hey, I see that you follow me. I really appreciate that. What I'd love to do is to open a line of communication over email. If you don't like him, you can subscribe after the first one. Because your paid ad stuff at the moment is going towards growth when really it might want to go towards conversion. Even if we just, it's like a bulk and a cut. Maybe we stop bulking for a bit and we do a bit of a cut for a bit. We spoke a little bit about pricing structures. Another point that's kind of really, fucking hell, we're never going to get through all of this. We spoke about it a little bit before. Those of you with like smaller accounts, I never heard of this terminology till earlier this year, but so much of what you're looking to do with content is accrue goodwill. If your call to actions are falling flat on their face, it's because you are not putting out enough good content that's having a meaningful impact with people. Because if you can turn up and revolutionize someone's life with your content all the time, Sean Casey again, love using him as an example. He made so many amazing reels and he got people to think so much about fat loss, fitness and everything that when he released a fucking PDF recipe book, which I guarantee the majority of people didn't cook a single fucking recipe out of, they bought it as a means of paying back the goodwill. Sean Casey literally, anyone know how much it was? 27 euros? I think I worked out he did 40,000 sales at 27 euros. He did over €1 million from his PDF recipe thing, right? That was people just saying, you're a fucking legend, you've helped me so much, let me support you. When I released my first book, the majority of people I don't think even fucking read it. I think they just went, love your content, let me give you something back. So what you want to do with your content strategy is accrue goodwill through posting regular things. Again, who in here does jiu-jitsu apart from yourself? Cool. Have you ever bought an instructional before where you're like, Craig Jones, you're a fucking legend, buy your instructional, never use it. But you're just literally trying to put money in the pockets of the athletes who you respect and you like. So much of your content strategy, even if you don't do call to actions for weeks or maybe months on end, just rest safe knowing that you are accruing goodwill within those people. And then when it comes to the point that you're relaunching your program, whatever it is, that they will buy. I think that's such a good mindset to get in when thinking about what it is you're doing. Because if you're just posting stuff and you're like, oh, I haven't done a call to action in a while, I haven't asked anything of my audience, just know that you're building this invisible force within strangers where they will feel compelled at some point to give you their money. Now, I just want to make sure I don't miss some of these things, but what I'm going to tell you, we were supposed to talk about this more. I've made an underrated category and an overrated category, and I want you guys to maybe challenge me, disagree with things, question me, and we'll make that the Q&A for the last half an hour. So, things I think are overrated right now in our industry, asking for follows. Other things I think are overrated is putting too much energy into TikTok. I do not think the platform has matured enough yet for us to reap. I like to think that so many different social media platforms are like planting seeds that we can harvest later. I think on Instagram, you can plant some seeds today and harvest in 9 months' time. I don't think TikTok is there yet. I think TikTok is only at the place where the real place to get sales from it is TikTok Shop, which you would need a product for. It's the weirdest landscape at the moment where basically for Newtonic, people are like, you need to be using TikTok Shop. And there are people out there that are like, oh my God, I found this drink and it's really helped me. They get £3.50 commission a thing. I think that doing gym content, talking about muscle growth is overrated unless you are fucking jacked, because you are just opening yourself to get torn down and ripped apart. And those of you talking about it are doing it because other creators are doing it and they're also getting torn down. It is so difficult to be an authority in muscle growth. You are so much better positioning yourself as talking about the evidence-based nature of training. Do not say, if you want to get jacked, if you want to get big, if you want massive arms, if you want to build muscle, don't use those. If you want to maximize your bicep training, these are some exercises you can do. If you want to get good variation in your back training, these are the 3 grips that are important. Make it about the evidence-based training principles. Do not make it about absolute muscle growth, because even the hooks are in the framing of the wrong place. If someone was in financially really bad trouble and tried talking about making money, this is why I don't trust financial advisors, right? Financial advisors like, if you give me your money, I can make you rich. I'm like, yeah, but you make your own money and you're not rich. Because if you were, you wouldn't be asking me for my money to make you rich. You know what I mean? You ever feel that? They're like, I'm an expert in managing wealth. Where's yours then? Anyway, that's a whole fucking other thing. Overrated PDF squeeze pages, overrated training plan squeeze pages, overrated read caption posts where you're just trying to do some 6-second fucking video like, read the caption, read the caption. Hate it. Wearing vests in content. I know I'm wearing a vest today, we're in Ibiza, right? Tom Bailey PT, always wore this like Lululemon fucking beater. I was like, mate, you look like a cunt. You look like a cunt because you're not big, you're not jacked. Also, if you have tattoos or, it's obvious, right? There's that fucking Paddo Dwyer guy who literally goes like this. Oh yeah, guys, I'm fucking, like when he's doing content. I know what you're doing, bro. You're just trying to show off your traps. It's fucking shit. If you want to dress plain t-shirts, don't wear shit on it. Diran did an event in Manchester wearing a Marvel t-shirt. And it was like the most colourful fucking thing ever. And people I could just see were just staring at his t-shirt, not listening to him. Presentation, look professional in some respects. If you're going on a first date with a girl, you wouldn't wear a vest. So don't fucking do it in your videos. If you're doing some training stuff, cool. But again, it's one of those things, just little changes. Not wearing grenade t-shirts, right? Are they paying you? No, they don't fucking wear it. Lululemon, good man. That was expensive. It's all right, I paid for it. So sales calls versus objection handling, underrated. Having your video 8 mile the shit out of them, just objection handle everything beforehand. Overrated, talking about yourself. Overrated, free rent in gyms. Overrated, paid ads early in the content game. So if you're just starting out in content and you want to do paid ads, you're probably not that good at doing content to do paid ads. Because if you're someone that's, hi, my name's Josh. If you can master and dominate organic content, when you turn up to do paid content, it will fucking bang. You'll get a much better return on ad spend because you are more competent, you are better at using a camera, you are better at lighting, setup, everything. You know in Fast and the Furious 1, where Paul Walker uses his NOS too quick, that is people with paid ads in the fitness industry. You wanna get as far as you fucking can with your organic, then press the NOS on the paid ads when you get to the tail end. It's not a prerequisite, it's something you do further down. Another thing that's overrated, said this Sean, high ticket. Those of you that are trying to charge heinous amounts of money for coaching, I can see it in your eyes that you don't even believe it's worth it. You've just had a business mentor that's told you it's the way to do it. And they're just trying to fucking wank themselves off. Yeah, I heard this guy built £50,000 this month. And you're like, mate, they signed them up for 6 months in advance, high ticket. You're just making it look like you're fucking better at your job than you're not. Okay, things I think that are underrated at the moment that I definitely think you need to double down on. Good audio. Too many of you using those clippy little shitty mics. Did I see you have them on mine? With a little fluffy bit on it.
Still DJI still, right?
No, you got to, no, I meant behind you then. See, you had the mic, didn't you? The little fluffy bit on the end. Is it the cheap one from Amazon? Yeah, I remember, mate. I see everything. Don't you forget, all right? The £20 ones on Amazon sound like shit. They sound worse than iPhone. I know the DJI mics are expensive, but they sound fucking good. Audio is such an important part in this. Your camera quality can be a bit worse if the audio is crisp. So much of what we do on content and listening to things is audio. I actually can watch YouTube when I'm driving because most of YouTube is listening. It's not actually watching. When you do watch YouTube, it's just the pattern interrupts to keep your brain happy. That's why so many of us actually learn things better when we're doing other tasks. We are audio learners better than we even realize, so please make sure the quality is good. Underrated, building your email list. Underrated, money back guarantees. Underrated, autoresponders. Underrated, really high frequency content periods. For those of you that are time rich, money poor, Eddie Abu, although I think he's a fucking cunt, was posting 14 times a day for a long period of time. You can tell how much that guy craves attention. One, through the amount of gear he was taking as a bodybuilder, but two, how quick he changed up his content approach. If you look at his content like 3-4 years ago, he's a real sensible guy just giving advice. But when that character came out, it just grew more on socials and people felt they could relate to it. He then just doubled down, triple down, quadruple down. He's putting out 12 to 14 pieces of content a day, every day. Of course, but that's still high frequency. No one really puts out 2 pieces a day. Whatever you can do. But if you're someone that's only got 2 clients and you're only putting out 1 reel a day, what are you doing with your time, brother? You know what I mean? So the most amount you can get out. Maybe even it's 2 posts that are 6 out of 10 and a repost, or it's 1 post that's a 10 out of 10 and it's 2 reposts. When you have the time to do it, just fucking get content out there. And don't be afraid, underrated, reposting. Again, most of my videos that have gone viral have been reposts. And again, if someone out there sees a post that you've reposted and they go, fucking hell, mate, I've already seen this one, probably not gonna slip off their chairs to buy your program for $897. Whereas the people that do buy your program, I guarantee the 30 people that are in your program at the moment are the type of people that go, hey man, first time I saw that post, I liked it. This time, I'm just gonna double tap it because I know what you're doing. They go, get that money, brother, get that money. You know the Sidemen, Chunks, Young Philly, those people on YouTube, one of the best things they've done is created an audience that want them to make money. I saw Chunks do a Pringle advert and all the comments went, get that money, G. Get that money. Advertise to us, brother, we don't care. Get that cash chunks. And you want the same, an audience that when you do repost, even if it's the third time, they fucking share it. I love that. When I saw it 3 months ago, I loved it so much, I'm gonna share it again. And you are only going to push away dickheads and curate a better audience of people that want you to do well. Again, friends, how many times has that been replayed? You don't see someone going, I saw that in 1997. You know, cool, I enjoyed it in 1997 and I enjoy it at the bottom of a come down. I enjoyed it yesterday in the bath, listening to sad songs, whatever it is. So again, the frequency, underrated. B-roll voiceovers. So those of you that are shy, maybe in the gym, putting together content. So even talking to camera, we went through some of this. You're a weapon. How old are you? 40, 45? 45, look at that, I see everything. In the gym, you can do ring muscle ups. I'm like, instead of talking to camera where I can see you're a bit nervous, I want you talking to me while I'm watching you do ring muscle ups at 45. Because now it benefits everything else that you're doing, and that B-roll just gives me the authority that I need to know that you know what you're on about. So for those of you that, even if you're on the train or something, you could even just mash up a load of content and be like, the most important thing that you do in training is just turn up, or whatever it is that you want to say. But again, B-roll is just footage. B-roll can be great. I'm just saying it can be great. Again, for those of you who don't know, every time you're training, even if you're just setting up your camera, film some of it, because there's gonna come a time where you make a video, and when you're talking about something, you're, oh, I've got a video for that. I've got 16,000 videos on my phone. I know, oh, I've got a video from October 2021, I could use that. Just having those assets to overlay, people love being taken on a journey. I was watching, what's his name? Lost Civilizations on Netflix. The bald guy that thinks there was a hidden tribe, the advanced civilization, what's it called? Graham Hancock. Anyone watch the Graham Hancock thing on Netflix? Did you watch it, right? But in it, if you watch it, there is a scene change every 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds, you've got an A piece to camera of Graham Hancock telling his story, which I think is off a teleprompter. Then 3 seconds, drone shot. 3 seconds, Graham Hancock. 3 seconds, Jeep driving down the lane. 3 seconds, something else. The whole series, there's no more than 3 seconds of one scene before they swap. And then your brain is like, wow, 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 wow. Same in content, just keep people's brains moving. Got some people, a guy on YouTube called Ryan Humiston, who just walks around his gym with a tripod. He'll put the tripod down, the 3 most important things for getting jacked shoulders, and he can say that because he's jacked. He'll go somewhere else, boom. Is that you get the partial range of motion, boom, he'll then sit on the leg extension. And those little changes are his pattern interrupts because he's not using B-roll. Underrated, showing off results, but not testimonials. So what I'm saying by this is, so many people are like, hi, here's my client Becky, she lost 14 stone, and she worked really hard in the program, and Becky and I, we've worked together. That doesn't work, because guess what? No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck about your client. Becky gives a fuck, because she lost 14 fucking stone. But your prospects don't give a fuck about a stranger. If I was to sit here and grab someone from the crowd and go, this guy made 100K, you're like, I don't care. But if you can position your testimonials in a way that people do care, so for instance, your hook could be, is it possible to lose 14 stone in a year? And could you do that without having to count calories and having breakfast on 3 days of the week? Well, it is, because Becky did it. And how did Becky do it? And you could tell a story about Becky and then position it at the end that it was a testimonial of a client. But really, you are telling a story to make the person watching it believe it's possible. You don't just do a testimonial post, you tell a story. And in that story, you make the person watching it believe they can accomplish the same thing. Because that's really what we're doing. Whenever I use a case study of one of the people that I've worked with, I'm not actually trying to show them off, I'm trying to convince you that it's possible. A few more underrated, then we'll get into the Q&A. Another thing underrated, good expenses. Again, you guys are gonna run businesses, there's gonna be turnover. You should invest in kit, equipment, microphones, things like that. It can seem like wasted money, but there is a return on investment to come from it. And 3 case studies I just want you guys to be aware of before we go into Q&A. Who follows Sam Seaforth? Does funny skits, works for Grenade. The effort this guy puts into his content, he films the whole thing on CapCut, it's all done on his phone. He'll do a 3-hour edit on his phone. Let me just check if that's his Instagram handle. Can everyone do this for me right now on your phones? Sam Seaforth, F-O-R-T-H. He's a nice guy, and let me see if there's a, he's got his 3 pin posts at the top, but even if you just click the one with the little red things, he does these all on CapCut, and captions, scene interrupts, pattern changes. It makes it seem like it's quite like a Sam, C, letter C, F-O-R-T-H. Oh, sorry. And if you even scroll down, you see there's a thumbnail of him holding a medal, right? If you look at just the way he moves the phone before the video starts, the pattern, the zoom, the him to her, to him, the captions, to him, to her, to him. The effort he puts into every single transition, and he does this all on iPhone, and then he's running and he's doing stuff, and he's actually done a video during the marathon just so he could have this for his content. Sometimes when I'm ever feeling like I'm putting a lot of effort into content, I go watch people like Sam and realize I'm not putting any effort into it like he is. The amount of effort that people are putting into, we want to be able to be inspired by that. So I watch Sam Seaforth when I think that my content is good and I realize I'm shit. Another guy that I spoke about before called Matt Armstrong with 1T on YouTube. This guy is buying crash damaged cars and fitting them up, which sounds like a thing that only dudes are into, but he's so good at telling stories that my missus watches it. My missus is now feeding the baby at home. She doesn't like cars, but she's watching it because he's a great storyteller. I would love everyone to watch just one of his videos as your homework, and you will lose yourself in the fact that he's telling stories. So for instance, he'll buy a second-hand headlight from a car, but he won't just go, oh, here's a headlight and put it in. He'll be like, this has a different VIN number to the car from here. And when you buy crash damaged cars, sometimes you can plug these in and the car will not let the headlight work because it's a different part. This is to stop people stealing them. And what we've seen in London is people go around Porsches and they steal the headlights because they're worth so much money. Then he says, this cost me £680 and I just don't think it's gonna work. Then he goes to his dad, Dad, do you reckon it's gonna work? I don't think it's gonna work. He plugs it in, it works, come on. And they're like happy about it. And you're like, fucking hell, I'm happy for this guy. It's just a headlight. But if he just put the headlight in, we wouldn't have experienced the whole ups and downs of it. Then there's another one where he has an iPad. He presses start. We have 7 days to get this Nissan GTR ready because it's going in for a tune. If we do not get this Nissan GTR ready, we're gonna miss the date. They go in there, they're working all night, it's 3 a.m, they're changing tires. Listen, that guy has millions of pounds and millions of fucking subscribers to his channel. If he wanted to get the car tuned a day later, it would be fine. But he's raising stakes in the story, making it seem like it's important. Imagine if you were like, I've got to be training, there's a marathon in 42 days, and if I don't get ready, I won't finish the marathon. And worse yet, I've set the stakes that if I don't finish this marathon in under 3 hours, I'm going to buy V-Shred's program 42 times. Like, suddenly there's a story, there's stakes to it, it's important, they're going to do things, what if it works, what if it doesn't? Another thing you see, Top Gear. We all love Top Gear. It's not a car journalism program. The ones that are our favorites are the stories, when they go to Africa, when they go to Iceland. And really the reality is they're just driving from A to B. But they don't just go from A to B. There are stakes where if their car breaks down, they've got to drive that horrible car back there. There's B stories. We've ended up at a racetrack, we've got a text and we've all got to do a drag race. Everything that we feel the emotional connections to are stories. It's why, not to get too deep, reason people love religion. They're just good stories. Everything is based off stories. You want to get 1 million people to go to war, you best tell a good story. If you can bring storytelling into your content, because at the end of the day, Matt Armstrong is just buying crashed cars and fixing them. But that doesn't sound sexy. But when you tell a good story around it, it is. Same when it could be fitness, fat loss, anything else. If you can start to watch these storytellers at work, you can really appreciate how good their content is. Another thing that's done really well by Matt Armstrong is he has a camera with a microphone on it, but then he'll cut to scenes where there's another camera and he'll do voiceovers. And then I was trying that with other bits of content where I was like, maybe I'll do the first bit of content talking to the camera, then I'll do a voiceover, then I'll come back to another bit of content. Look at what's working for other people and try and emulate it. And the third thing that I would say is a good case study for you to do, Adam Sullivan, who's here, who I had blocked for 4 years. I thought he was a cunt. He's still blocked on TikTok. He's now one of my best mates in the industry. He is one of the biggest kind of encapsulations of having a strong brand. Adam has only 600,000 followers, which I know is a lot, only 600,000 followers. He's making 1.2 to 1.5 million Aussie dollars a month. It's about £600,000 a month. And he's actually only got 4,000 or 5,000 clients, but those clients buy everything from him. When he does merch drops, he does $500,000 in a day. I've never seen a brand so strong on a creator so small. He's just a normal guy. He's no different to you. He did 10 years in fitness first. He even used to be a metaler in a rock band, right? So if you can look and epitomize from, okay, Matt Armstrong tells good stories. Adam Sullivan has a strong brand. This person creates this good content. If you can start taking inspiration from all of those people and bringing it towards your own businesses, you can have so much more pulling power. You might not have 2 Lamborghinis like he does at 34, but still, you want to be able to take some inspiration from all of those different people and start applying it to your own. We'll go into the questions now. I want you to disagree, challenge me, do about 15 minutes, and I'll piss myself. We'll go, yeah. No offense, can we have questions? Someone that hasn't asked a question yet? Yes. So I would say, Brand is where your professional identity meets your personal identity. You just have to make sure, I think we only have like 10, 15 minutes left for those who want to piss. So one more time, brand is personal and business identity mixed together. That's not to say there's a perfect ratio, but maybe it's 80% business, 20% personal. For instance, now that I have a child, my brand is changing because my child is more involved in it than before. I'm doing more static images that are nothing to do with fitness because my brand has changed. I think that you should maybe get a picture in Ibiza and go, I'm here partying, but I'm also here learning how to be a better coach. So then people don't just think you're a dickhead. And again, this is positioning. If you see a guy in a bar with a gold Rolex, chances are he's a cunt. But if you were to sit next to him and he was to say, 5 years ago I was homeless and I was living on the streets, but I saw a gap in the market, I created an empire, and now I've retired all my parents and I bought a gold Rolex, he's a hero. It's not the watch that changes, it's the story around it. So it's important that all of us, as far as a brand positioning, are levering things like that to make sure it looks good. So yeah, if you're in Ibiza, someone goes, oh, it's all right for you. But if you're here trying to build your business so you can help hundreds and maybe even thousands of people feel better, be healthier or whatever, suddenly you're a hero. Picture's the same, story's different. So just make sure you position yourself better. Yes?
So I've got a sports tech company.
Sports tech, and the tech is?
Smart clothing for intelligent athletes.
Smart coding for intelligent athletes. If I was you, so it's tech, shorts, basically I put these shorts on, they measure my legs, I do some back squats, he goes, yo James, your right quad's bigger than your left, your hip extension is slow out, whatever it is. That's really exciting, sounds really cool. I would be keen to get creators to try it. So maybe you reach out to YouTubers in the fitness space, people that do things like try Oura rings, Whoop straps, all of this, because there are going to be people that have a shared interest, right? So let's say I'm your generic fitness YouTuber and you message me and you go, hi James, I've got this pair of shorts that do this. I might not care about your business that much, but you know what I do care about? The millions of people that might be frothing over this. And then I could make a little movie, which would be the YouTube video, talking about it. You do open yourself up to potentially negative criticisms if the product isn't good enough, which you wouldn't have control over. But I think that's a social strategy I would use where that's what 8 Sleep did with the mattress. They went out to all the YouTubers, gave them the mattress for free, knowing the product was fucking sick. Now people like me can't shut the fuck up about it. But if you were to get people to use it, you could then clip their content for your socials, and then you could say, if this is something of interest to you, we're launching in this date, give us your email address and we'll give you a discount. That's another thing that 8 Sleep do. 8 Sleep have amazing marketing. When I went to their website, pop up, it goes one-time offer, 10% off, give me your email address. So that even though I bounced from the website, which means I didn't buy, they emailed me every day for like 15 days. Boom, 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 boom. Claim your offer, claim your offer, claim your offer. And it was the money back guarantee that got me to buy in the first place. But yeah, it's one of those things that once you kind of get someone to land on your site, if you can get their contact information and just say, yo, when we drop this, perform better, whatever it is, you get their email address. But yeah, it would be something, I would have it as some kind of like pop-up on the website. This isn't out yet, give us your email address, we'll let you know when it does. And maybe give you a discount. Sounds exciting though. But yeah, I would say try and get email addresses, but you would really want the product out there, and I would definitely use high-level YouTubers with big followings and leave us something from it. That's cool, that sounds sick.